Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, and I am so excited about today's live. Although it looks like on YouTube there's something blah 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 blocking my face. What the hell's going on here? Oh yeah, I see what the problem is. Let's just go down. There we go. Booyah, got it. Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Sorry for the late opening. We had some technical difficulties where involving OBS not wanting to stream anything, which was terrifying because I thought something was terribly wrong and it was going to be expensive. But it turns out I just had to, I don't know, I guess restarting OBS fixed everything. I don't know. But right off the bat, we have a special super chat from our friend Herbie Shine, saying, with the 10 pounds, saying, I forgot to watch last night, but watched this morning and I'm going to bed. 10:07 p.m. in the UK, so won't be catching until tomorrow. Here's a super chat, being a no-show for 2 days in a row. Well, Herbie Shine, we appreciate your patronage, my friend. It's good to always hear from you.
I gotta hop down and hop back up again. It's glitched.
Oh, okay. All right, so already we have a hi, Ashlyn. How you doing?
Hi. Guess who's still messaging me?
Oh, Bob.
There we go.
Yeah, telling me that I have no morals and like that all atheists are these things. When they know I'm an atheist, and then I'm like, hey, why are you so rude? And they're like, I'm not being rude to you. And I'm like, what if I said all Christians were a piece of shit fuck-faced and all of that? And they're like, well, would you like me to not generalize? And I'm like, I like, by this point I was like, do you have a diagnosis that I should honestly be aware of? Like, this is a serious question.
This guy,
oh my god, I had a Christian message me just out of the blue yesterday saying like I had psychological issues, and I'm like, my guy, I'm not the one who's randomly messaging strangers insulting them. That's you,
yeah.
not me.
They messaged me because they thought I was a Christian because I was talking on another space, messaged me asking my thoughts on the Bible, and then I was like, yeah, like, I don't believe it's real or anything, just to, hey, just a heads up. And then decides to tell me that all atheists are volatile and overly sensitive, and then proceeds to ask me questions, send me message after message of nonsense information. And I like legitimately was responding cordially to them. And then I was just getting annoyed because they asked me questions, when I would respond, would just ignore what I had to say and move on to a new topic, telling me how it was true and all this. And I'm just like, are you actually, yeah, I'm like, are you like honestly okay as a human? Like, I'm honestly concerned.
Yeah, that person,
the guy who was messaging me just kept messaging me pictures of quotes from scientists who believe in God, saying that they believe in God. And it's just like, that's not the argument that you think it is.
Oy vey. Okay, well, we have our first guest of the day, Emmett613. Emmett is returning, is a returning guest. Emmett goes by he, him. They are theists, specifically Jewish, if I remember. And then, and you are at least 18. So Emmett, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good evening from the snowy Northeast. I bet you guys it's a lot drier and warmer down where you're at, and a nice cowboy hat.
Thank you. I did have to wear a coat today to go outside, but otherwise, yeah, it looks nice outside. What brings you back to the show, Emmett?
Well, I feel this is a topic I feel like I could have more of a conversation and maybe a debate with you, rather than, is Jesus the Messiah? Because obviously, given my religion, don't believe that as such. So I think to start the conversation, I'd ask you, when you say why should I believe the Bible, when you say believe the Bible, do you mean in terms of a narrative? Do you mean every little speck of information? Because there are parts of the Old Testament that we know are verifiably true, specifically the existence archaeologically of specific figures, especially when you get to the Book of Kings and Samuel, etc. So, when you say why should I believe the Bible? Can you first expand what that quantifies for you?
Yeah, I mean, like, why should I believe that the world was created in 6 days and God rested on the seventh? Why should I believe that Yahweh, the God of Israel, is really exists and is a God? Why should I believe that the Exodus ever happened, or that Abraham or Moses or anyone from Genesis were real people, or
Okay.
anyone from the Torah real people? Why should I believe the
Okay.
Torah is from God? Why should I believe prophecy is true?
Generally, the supernatural claims.
Okay. So, let me just start, I guess, with a couple of the things you mentioned. So, first of all, I would argue that when it says the world was created in 7 days, at least the way I view it and the way I was taught it, um, I don't think most, or I'm not should say most. I think there's a sizable amount of Jews, especially those that are not as orthodox vigorously, that don't view the world having been created in 7 days. I think the word day is what sort of expanded upon. At least I was taught, we don't know what a day is in God's eyes. That could be thousands of centuries. I mean, personally, for me, I view evolution as sort of God's way of having the world evolve naturally. But specifically, the Exodus, I think there's an interesting topic there I wanted to expand on. In the Torah itself, it says Yam Suf. Now, Yam Suf is traditionally translated the Red Sea, but if you actually look at the Hebrew,
Sea of
Yam
Reeds.
means Sea of Reeds, exactly. Sea of Reeds. Now, Sea of Reeds to me means that the actual event itself could have been realistically in a much more micro level, because a sea of reeds sounds like a much smaller body of water compared to obviously the Red Sea or some other large body of ocean. So for me, at least with the Exodus, because the Hebrew says sea of reeds, what I believe is that there might be a kernel of a historical memory where there was some sort of crossing by a group of people leaving Egypt, or leaving somewhere in that region, and obviously that historical truth or memory sort of expanded upon over time and was adopted as a founding myth or a founding legend of the Israelites. So, what is your take on that theory?
I think that most likely where we get the Exodus narrative is that the ancient Israelites, who were just another group of Canaanites, that, at one point in history, the Canaanites were ruled over by the Egyptians, from the Sinai all the way into the land of Canaan. Canaanites were subjugated by the Egyptians, uh, and that the Exodus narrative, as we have it, is just generation after generation, that cultural memory becoming mythologized until it's no longer we were Canaanites subject to Egypt in the land of Canaan, until it's we were our own distinct group of people in the land of Egypt subject to Egyptians, and we escaped. Um, so it's also like a slow, gradual evolution of the myth.
Right, but assuming the myth has a historical kernel to it, doesn't that sort of lend credence that, hey, there are aspects of the Bible I should believe, and maybe even the supernatural aspects, there might be some sort of kernel of truth. I'll give another example. We have the seer Balaam, um, you know, mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. And then we have, are you familiar with the, what's it called? Something inscription. Hold on. Dear Allah. I have it here. The Dear Allah inscription. Are you familiar at all with that? Okay, so the Dear Allah inscription was discovered in 1967 in Jordan. And basically, what's written there is that there was a seer of the gods named Balaam, son
What's
of
what's
Beor. And
what's the name of this inscription?
the Dear Allah, DEIR space
D E
ALLA space inscription.
DEIR space L what?
Space ALLA
ALLA
inscription.
inscription. Let's see. Let's see. It is a remarkable 8th century BC inscription. Let's see. What information can we find out about it? Yeah, I mean that's fine. Balaam, son of Beor, was probably like a known figure of ancient. By the way, it says who was a seer of the gods, so this isn't describing someone who's alive when this inscription is given. It's like someone who's a legendary seer of the gods, and of course the authors of the Pentateuch, plural authors, because the Pentateuch was
Hmm.
composed in the exile.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Probably included a mythological figure into their story.
Okay, I mean that's possible. I definitely don't dismiss, and I agree with you that the Hebrew Bible is written by multiple authors over time. I definitely agree with you on that front. But I don't view necessary. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's also a note I just wanted to say that if we're talking about like the myth of creation in Genesis, you're saying that, oh, maybe like one day is a billion years or something like that. It gets the order wrong. Like even if we were to extend out the days to hundreds of thousands or billions of years, which I don't think there's any motivation for in the text, but even if we did allow that, it just gets things mixed up and completely wrong. For example, to my understanding, the Earth is created before the sun and moon are created, or the sun specifically. And we know it's the other way around. The sun was created before the Earth. And then even if we're going to go back to the very first bit, it says like in "Let there be light." At the earliest point of the Big Bang that we know of, there was no light because the universe was too dense and opaque for light to actually travel. It wasn't until let's see, like a few thousand years after the earliest moment that we know about where light could actually travel. There was lots of stuff that happened before then.
Yeah, I mean, I would chalk that up to the fact that because you have multiple authors, logically speaking, you're going to have contradictions made or things that don't agree with each other. But for me, the supernatural parts of the Hebrew Bible, I view it more as just poetry or just sort of not necessarily to be meant literally, because I view the Hebrew Bible specifically, the Tanakh, I view it more so as a library, a selection of materials that are um, sustaining the traditions and the memories of a specific people. I don't view it as a narrative necessarily. And for me, the biggest reason I would believe I'm not saying believe the entire Bible, but I certainly think there are historical discoveries or traditions that can be learned from the Hebrew Bible because, again, I personally think that a lot of these stories have historical kernels or
I
historical
mean,
memories that,
sure,
that have expanded upon.
but so does the Iliad and the Odyssey. Like the Trojan War was based on a real war, and the myths surrounding it,
Hmm.
evolved over the centuries until. But like, was there a man named Achilles, and was he impervious except for his a tendon on his leg? Probably not. Does Zeus exist, and does Zeus help the outcome of the Trojan War? I don't think so. In the same way, like the Israelites at one point were subject to the Egyptians in the land of Canaan during the late Bronze Age and leading into the Iron Age. But like, does Yahweh exist, and does he like give prophecy to people? I don't think so. Especially when we have instances of prophecies outright just failing in the Hebrew Bible.
Well, I don't think your prompt means that you can't find truths in other texts. I mean, there's definitely kernels of truth or elements in other some of those texts that you mentioned, like the Iliad, Odyssey, Epic. I mean, I don't know about the Epic of Gilgamesh. That seems to be a little bit more. I mean, there's some historical locations there that were real. I don't think that's mutually exclusive, though. I mean, I think a lot of these ancient Near Eastern texts, there are kernels of truths or historical memories that expanded upon. So I
Sure,
guess I
but
really
we're not really
go ahead.
interested in that though. We only really care about the supernatural claims, and does Yahweh exist, and is he giving prophecy to people? Did Moses exist? I don't think so. Did Abraham exist? I don't think so. Adam and Eve? No, definitely not. Was there a global flood? No. all the important parts that we really care about, whether or not they are
Kim,
true or
Kim,
not.
you bring up the flood.
Yeah,
You
It,
bring
it
up
doesn't
the
seem any more truth tracking than any other
right.
mythology of around that time. That's sort of the point.
You bring up the flood. I'm actually, it's interesting you bring that up. So we know that the flood myth is not unique to the Bible. We know it was a very common story or legend in a lot of Near Eastern cultures. Now, the fact that so many different cultures had a flood myth, do you not think that sort of adds possibility that there was some sort of massive flood, some sort of supernatural disaster that was
Supernatural.
It tells me that floods were common.
Yeah, we see
It was
that
in my minds.
when you have cultures that live next to large bodies of water, like for example in Mesopotamia, you have the Tigris and Euphrates. In Egypt, you have the Nile. It's not surprising that in cultures where you have rivers that often flood, occasionally that flood myths would arise, but nothing supernatural. It's all natural.
It's a lot like how, if you ever watch Ancient Aliens, they think that there's some mystical reason why a bunch of different cultures happen to build pyramids, but it's really not that mystical when you realize that pyramids are just the shape that you can stack rocks in that don't fall over for a while.
Yeah.
Like that's really all there is to that.
All right. I mean, I guess I think I guess just sort of just the thesis of the conversation so far is that, I definitely agree, that a lot of the supernatural parts are exaggerated or their stories built upon what could have been historical memories. But the prompt says, why should I believe the Bible? And I guess the reason I would say that you should believe the Bible is that you shouldn't believe it literally, but you should believe, I think, that this was a group of people that had some historical events or memories that originally existed, and yes, they were expanded upon, and yes, they were written as a means of building, more likely than not, traditions and an origin story.
At that point, you're just asking me to also believe in the Iliad and the Odyssey.
No, I'm not, because I'm not saying you should read the Bible literally. Just like I don't think you should read the Odyssey literally.
Well,
I think
I don't think the Bible comes from a god. Like an all-knowing God would give prophecies that don't fail, but the Bible has failed prophecies in it.
Well, I mean, I'm not advocating that every prophecy, um,
I'm
you know,
also not sure when it comes to like creation myths of like how the universe was created, what
mhm.
it's supposed to even be a metaphor for, if it is supposed to be read as a metaphor. Like a metaphor for what? Like why
I mean,
why is the sun and moon being created before after the earth? Like that's not what is that a metaphor for?
I mean, I don't,
That's
again,
just wrong.
again, this is just me. I don't view the creation story as, something to be taken literally or as a means of how the world existed. I view it more
Well,
so
that's
as
my
just,
point. I
you know,
don't
Wait, do
see an
you,
alternative way to read
Emmett,
it.
why don't you do this with other ancient books? Do you believe in them the same exact way?
no, I believe other ancient books could have
No,
historical,
in the same way that you're asking us to believe this book.
in what sense? In believing in
Why
what
is the
sense?
Iliad not divinely inspired as well?
Um, I would say because the Iliad is just a singular, more so poetic. It's a story. While I would say the Bible or the Hebrew Bible, I would say specifically, is more of
There's
a library of
there
selected texts of a
there
people over centuries.
there's poetry throughout the narration of the Exodus. The Song of Moses, for example, that's poetry. There's poetry found in
Yeah,
the
it's one
book
of
of
the oldest. It's one of the oldest pieces of the Bible.
Yeah, it's all just ancient myths and poetry, just like the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Again, for
I
me,
have the book of
Uh,
I don't even know how to pronounce it. My friend gave it to me. The Bhagavad
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 Gita.
Gita.
Yeah, I suck at saying these names. Should I do the same thing with this book?
I'm not as familiar with the contents of the Bhagavad Gita. I just know it's an Eastern text. I'm not as familiar with its contents and stories. So
Or
I,
again, the Epic of Gilgamesh might be a better
yeah,
example.
yeah.
yeah,
But
should I believe
Why
in
is that not
Gilgamesh?
divinely inspired as just as much as the Hebrew Bible?
Yeah, should
because
we
I
believe
think
in
there are more
Enlil
because
and
I think that
Enki?
because I think there are more parts of the Hebrew Bible that we can say are definitively archaeologically proven rather than say the Epic of
But
Gilgamesh.
there's also parts of the Bible that are archaeologically like definitively not true. Like the Book of Daniel
Of
is
course.
is front to back is front to back a forgery.
Well,
What
of course.
percentage does it need to be to push you over that edge?
Well, I'll
To be
I'll first handle just answer Dalton's point, then I'll answer your point, Ashley, just because Dalton was first. Just because already in my head I had a response to that. So the Book of Daniel is not a book of prophets in the Hebrew and Judaism. It's considered writings. It's not meant to be considered as prophecy, or I would think of anything that's meant to be taken again literally. It's meant to more so just be wise occurrences or wise sayings from someone dealing with the situation in Babylon. There's a reason why the Book of Daniel,
It contains prophecies.
right? But it's not considered. But it's not considered. It's not under Nevi'im in Judaism.
that-
It's under Ketuvim.
That's an arbitrary categorization.
I disagree with that. If it was meant to be considered prophecy literally, it'd be under Nevi'im. It's under Ketuvim for a
I
reason.
think the reason why it's not considered prophecy anymore is because it failed, and this is a way to cope.
The categorization.
There are other failed prophecies.
What books you consider part of the Nevi'im, the prophets, and the Ketuvim, the writings, is completely and utterly arbitrary. It's just what a bunch of men decided should be in those categories. But the Book of Daniel contains prophecies.
It did. It may contain prophecies, but again, in Judaism, Daniel's not considered a prophet. So
Well,
anything he says
in modern Judaism.
I mean, in modern Judaism, sure, but it's impossible to state when that. I mean, the Book of Daniel was written what, the first, second BCE in all likelihood, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would assume at that point we're a lot closer to some sort of codified Tanakh, assuming it was finalized within the next 100, 200 years.
We don't have any evidence of a singular codified canon of the Hebrew Bible, at least until the medieval period.
We don't. We absolutely do not. Now, I would assume, logically speaking, that it was codified well before the medieval period. I don't know if you'll grant me that, but I would assume logically it makes a lot of sense, just based on what's taught in the Talmud and the Mishnah prior before that point.
The Talmud quotes books that aren't even in the canon.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that
does the Talmud ever give us a list of canonical books?
No, because that's not its point. The point is to document the oral law of the Torah. It's not. But what I'm trying to say is that at that point, rabbinic Judaism is already well solidified. So I would presume that a canon of some sorts is already established by that point. I would assume it's more likely than not. Now I can't prove it to you, but I just think logically speaking.
Yeah, we have no evidence. We have no reason to think that. Like the canon wasn't solidified. Judaism wasn't even solidified. Judaism is never solidified. Like all religions, it's constantly growing.
Well, yeah, it's evolving. Yeah, because rabbinic Judaism is evolving from the Pharisees.
I want to know how much history it has to get correct, like percentage wise, and then that's my wondering right now. Like,
sorry, I forgot about your question. I'm sorry.
You're saying it's got more history correct. I don't even know how we quantify that, if I'm being honest. Like, how do we quantify that? And then you're saying that it has this certain amount. I want to know the percentage. It seems like you've thought about this.
Well, again, it depends if you're trying to view these documents as literal history, literal events, or as a narrative basis. Now, the reason why I can't put a percentage on it because I think that's.
How do you compare it then? How do you know that it's more?
How do I know it's more? I mean, just from my basic knowledge of the epic, which again, I'm not an expert on it, but from what I understand, the only things that are verifiably true in the Epic of Gilgamesh it mentions real places that exist in Mesopotamia, while the Hebrew Bible mentions specific individuals and specific events that are referenced in sources beyond the Hebrew Bible. So, obviously you have a Sennacherib's prison, that mentions,
From what I can tell, from everything I've looked at, the only parts of the Hebrew Bible that are even remotely historical are the things related to the two kingdoms and their kings, and the Babylonian exile and the rebuilding of the temple. And everything prior to King David is complete myth. And even the things about David aren't necessarily true history. Like the majority of the Hebrew Bible is either myth or mythic history.
I would agree with you that everything before David is a lot more myth bound and a lot more difficult to prove it happened. Definitely agree with you. I would still argue, as I mentioned before, that I think there are historical memories rooted, but we agree to disagree on that front.
Do we do
But-
this like
but-
per capita on the wording? Like number
Yeah.
of things right per words? Like
no,
I'm
it's-
wondering
it's-
how you quantify
it-
this. Is
I mean,
the
Here,
reason I
what-
asked that question is like, how do you quantify that?
What I want to know is,
qu-
is Yahweh actually the one true God, and is he actually interacting with the people of Israel? And I have no reason to think so.
I mean, you asking me personally? Personally, I think I'm gonna just say Hashem, just due to the Ten Commandments, and because Hashem is while I believe he is real, I also recognize that he's not a all good God. He definitely has moments of sound and fury, to say the least. I mean, I personally think he's real, but I understand that I can't definitively prove its existence. But again, the prompt says, why should I believe the Bible? And my argument comes back to the point because there are parts of it that I think we know are certainly true. There are
parts
figures
of the,
we know.
There are parts of the Iliad and the Odyssey that are based on history. Like at this point in the
But the-
conversation,
There's
it
also
looks like
parts
I
of-
have
But it's
no
not mutually
better-
exclusive.
Yeah, it looks like at this point in the conversation, I have no better reason to believe the Hebrew Bible than I do have to believe in the Iliad and the Odyssey. Like I believe in it just as much, or just as little.
There's also parts of like Marvel comics that are true in real life. Like there was 9/11 in Marvel, but I don't believe in Spider-Man.
Okay, obviously. I mean, listen. I wish Spider-Man was real. That'd be awesome.
I mean, yeah,
especially 'cause I lo-
but like,
uh,
like imagine 2,000 years from now, they dig up some Spider-Man comics and they see referenced real events like 9/11 in New
Mhm.
York and stuff like that, and they go, "Oh wow, there's so many historical events in this. Spider-Man must also be real." That's kind of what this is like.
They made statues and worshipped him and
Yeah.
dressed up as him and
I mean, I guess
This
you could
feels
do
like
that.
just like a Bronze Age version of that.
And Yahweh
I mean, I
doesn't seem to
disagree.
be, and Yahweh doesn't seem to be any more special than any other gods in the ancient Near East. The only difference is he's the one that survived into the modern era. That's it.
I mean, in the Hebrew Bible, I mean, it sort of confirms the existence of lower deities. I mean, the divine council, for instance. So I mean, that's referenced
Is-
in the
is-
Genesis.
Is there
More
any real
claims that make it harder to
Yeah.
believe it.
Yahweh is just no different than all the other gods of the ancient world. Just another god.
I mean, listen, I can't prove. If you're asking me to prove it's his existence, obviously,
We're not asking proof. We're asking just for evidence to make it more likely than not.
again, the evidence I'd refer to that there is more historical confirmation of events and people existing
Barely.
in the Hebrew Bible.
Barely.
And that's
And,
not even
lots
if we
of
were to
them
grant
don't
that, that's not
exist.
evidence because because again, like we could say the same about Spider-Man. Like that's not an actual argument.
Neil deGrasse Tyson
I mean,
met
right.
Superman in the Superman comics. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a real person.
Sure, but
Just the fact that it references some real things doesn't make the supernatural things any less supernatural or fake.
Pontius
I mean,
Pilate really was
that's-
the procurator of Judea in the early 30s CE, but that doesn't mean that the supernatural claims about Jesus of Nazareth are true.
no, of course not. And again, I'm not from the onset. I said that the supernatural parts, I think, either they didn't happen, they're myths, or they're historical memories expanded upon. We can go through each supernatural event, but that's
well-
that. Go ahead.
So if you don't even believe in the supernatural bits, then why should I believe in a god? Because like if anything, if a god exists, the supernatural claims being true is what I would point to show evidence for that god being true. But if you don't even think the supernatural parts are true, then why would I ever think that the god
Well,
is true?
Well, I would say more important than for me at least. I guess maybe just because I am Jewish, I view the God less. I view the God being less being less important rather than the people and its traditions and cultures, and its history, especially specifically from
So do
the
we even
kingdom.
disagree then?
I mean, from the prompt, we disagree because you think they're well. I shouldn't. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
All you're asking me to do
the
is to
prompt
keep.
says,
All you're asking me to do is keep doing what I'm already doing. Is believe that there's a kernel of some historical like semblance of a true history there, and the majority of it is either myth or mythic history. And also, you're not asking me to believe in any of the supernatural claims. So, like, when I say I don't believe, I should believe in the Bible, we mean the supernatural claims. God did not speak to your people at Mount Sinai. He did not give them the Torah. The Torah didn't come from Moses. Prophecies didn't come from God. They came from people, and most of them failed.
well, I mean, regarding the Moses part, I mean, I would say that I think it's possible. I mean, the fact that the name Moses actually might be more of a hint because Moses is actually an Egyptian, a word with the Egyptian etymology. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's interesting that that's the name used rather than more of a Hebrew word, but that's a whole separate discussion. I guess, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess we don't necessarily disagree on so much when you think about it, but I think what you say that, the fact that the only parts that might be true are historical elements and kernels or in memories, and specifically, from David onwards, I still think that means that the Bible is worth believing in to some capacity. It has inherent value still, just like those other Near Eastern texts.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it has
as
inherent
much
value when it calls me property. The value, I'm really seeing it. Yeah,
it's as valuable as the Epic of Gilgamesh in that we don't get our morals from it. We don't legislate according to it. We don't believe in its myths, just like the way we don't believe in the Epic of Gilgamesh. So, like, it looks like we're not going to get anywhere in this conversation.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it's just going to be to agree to disagree, but I just think just because something is more so rooted in historical memories or kernels of history, I don't think that doesn't mean that it doesn't have inherent value or that there isn't parts of it that's worth believing in or that it should be true.
When it doesn't come from a god and it issues decrees on slavery and misogyny and it has failed prophecy, it's not worth believing in.
I mean, but realistically speaking, obviously I'm not defending those parts of the Hebrew Bible, but clearly, go ahead.
But negates everything you said before that. So all we're hearing is the but.
And don't forget all the scientific inaccuracies that a lot of people still believe in.
I mean, I can't speak for other people. I can just speak for myself. But
like when you ask people to believe in the Bible, that's what people are going to believe in.
Again, I can't.
They're going to believe in all of it. Like, you're not going to cherry pick and choose which parts are good to believe and which parts you should interpret as just, that's just I mean, what do you call it?
That's if you're viewing the Hebrew Bible as just a stoic and as a stoic document.
When I take into consideration the parts of the Hebrew Bible
Metaphor.
that have any historical rooting, which barely make up any part of it, and the majority of it is myth and mythic history, the Hebrew Bible just doesn't. It's not important to me in this way. It's just an ancient book. I mean, and it
doesn't have to be important to you.
I don't have no good reason to believe it.
I personally,
if it's divinely inspired, it should be important, but there's no real evidence that it is.
I personally don't like it. Always, and like, I'm not meaning this to be rude, but like, it always. It puts me at awe especially when men come up here and sit down and saying like a woman should believe in this book that has some historical accuracies that says all these atrocious things about them. Like, why should I not just dismiss the thing entirely when it says that you could stone me, that you could own me as property, my consent never matters? Like, and then you're like, well, it's got this great thing about it, it's honestly, it sounds to me like Confederates arguing in 2026 on the fact, well, these things are historical, so don't take the statues down. Like that's to me the kind of parallel it's giving.
Well, first of all, fuck the Confederacy. But more importantly, more prevalent to the conversation, I don't disagree that there are parts of the Hebrew Bible that are terrible. But again, what I would come back to is that the value, at least for me, is that this is, what's connected to a people, and clearly it's evolved
That's
over
the same
time.
with the Confederacy.
The Confederacy no longer exists, thank God.
Yeah,
But
you
they
know,
were they're ancestors of those people groups.
yeah. There are a lot. As someone who
individually they
lives,
might exist, but
as someone who lives in Texas, there's a lot of people who say that we are that people, and this is our history, and fuck all of them. Yeah, it's my
okay, I mean,
heritage stuff.
they can be history of losers. That's fine. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't. At least I would say since most Jews today aren't necessarily either religious or Orthodox, and for me, what that means is that the Hebrew Bible, again, it's more so tradition and more so something that's not a Stoic document. It's evolved over time. Clearly there was a time already by the Second Temple Judaism, if not a little bit beforehand, where these horrible parts of the Bible are becoming less and less agreed upon because it's, the people evolve, cultures evolve. We've realized, okay, this is not something we should agree upon, and it's, no longer practiced in the community.
Everything you say just makes me want to believe the Bible less and less. Everything.
Okay. I mean, listen. I just think personally that it has a value for the reasons I stated. My goal wasn't to. Obviously, I'm under no illusion that I'm going to convince you otherwise. But I just think personally that because of its cultural significance for a people, and the fact that we do have some individuals that we know verifiably did exist,
you sound like a modern day person that identifies with the Confederacy. I'm like being genuine, because that's literally, I used to do lives with one of my friends who's super into history. They would make this exact same argument that, I know it was all this bad stuff, but I connect because my great great grandfather fought on this side of the war, and I'm sorry that like people were enslaved and all this harm was done. And I know it said, like, we've said and done horrible things, but like, how you feel as a Black individual regarding this topic. I'm going to go around flying my Confederate flag and telling people all about this time in history, and that you should believe in it and find value in it. Like,
well, I mean, I would just counter with 2 points. First of all, I wouldn't say I'm coming from a position of any sort of systemic power. I think the idea that Jews have been treated well in history is certainly not the reality. But what I would also say is that
I've got another guest waiting in the wings, and quite frankly, no offense, but my entire audience is bored out of their minds because like we already all know this stuff. Yeah, I mean, sorry.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me on and speaking with me there, and I hope you have a good evening, and I enjoy the show. So stay healthy and have a good one.
You too. I was just so bored of that conversation for half of it. All right. Let's try this again. Mighty Son of God. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
Him.
And then question number 3: do you believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Why should I believe in the Bible?
Well, the first question I'm going to ask you, are you atheist or do you believe in God?
I'm an atheist, but even if I believed in God, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
Okay. So let me try to believe in you real quick. What do you believe? Like, because I believe in God and I believe He created everything. So what do you believe?
I'm an
That would be the
atheist.
first question I have to ask you.
I'm a naturalist.
So how was the world created?
Look, I'll say it again for you, mighty Son of God. Even if I believed in God, and I believed the universe was created by a God, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
Okay. But I'm going off of what you told me. You said you're atheist, so I'm going to go off of that.
Yes, but this conversation would be no different whatsoever, even if I did believe in a God. So my atheism is irrelevant to the conversation, because I could be a deist and believe in a God, and I would still be sitting up here saying, why should I believe in the Bible?
I'm going to tell you why if you answer my question. Now, can you tell me how the world was created?
Yeah,
Because
it
in the
was.
Bible, it tells you.
Actually,
That's
I'll
how
let
we got to start off.
I'll let Quantanaut give you the answer, because we have a good scientific answer for how the Earth was created. Go on, Quantanaut.
Yeah, how the Earth was created. The Earth was created through an accretion disk around the sun. So after the sun formed from a collapsing gas, and which triggered nuclear fusion, then the accretion disk around the sun gravitationally collapsed into rocky and gaseous planets, one of which would later become the Earth. So through purely physical processes. But if you're talking about the universe as a whole, we don't know what happened before the earliest moment of the Big Bang that we can observe as. But there's a few different models. One of them is that the universe was eternal, so it could have just gone through like a cycle of big bangs and big crunches. Or it could have evolved from a timeless state, so it wouldn't have been created. It would have been just time emerges from just the geometry of space-time in general. But in both cases, the universe wouldn't have been created.
Okay, so you believe that an unconscious universe knew you needed eyes, knew you needed water, knew you needed plants, trees,
Mighty
light,
Son of
sun.
God, Mighty Son of God, I already started this conversation telling you that even if me and my guests all believe that a God existed and created the universe, we still wouldn't believe in the Bible. I know that you really, really want to talk about creationism, but we're talking about we're talking about the Bible. Like, even if we all believed in a God and we agree with you that God exists and he created the world and he created the universe, we still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
For example, I mentioned this to the last guest, that the story of Genesis just gets the order of events wrong. So, like, for example, it says that the earth was created before the sun, but we know this to be factually false. So even if, as Dalton was saying, even if we do grant that there is a God, I don't think it would be this one, because it gets the order wrong. It just has a bunch of scientific inaccuracies.
What was the first thing God created? Was it not light?
Yeah, and that's also false.
But you just said the sun would have to come first, so you did create light first.
No, in the universe, there were quantum fields, and the universe was too hot and dense for light to permeate through it. So the universe at the very start of the Big Bang would have been dark.
All right, so that's what that's what it says in the Bible. It was the earth was born and dark. But anyway, but you just said that was true.
Well, you just said it. The earth was dark. The Bible says that before God even begins his act of before God even starts creating anything, there are already things that exist eternally there with God, and that is the earth, the waters, and the darkness, that they're just there. And then God creates light, and he doesn't create the sun until day 4. That's all wrong. None of that is scientifically accurate.
Certainly water, which requires, oxygen. Oxygen did not exist in the universe in like the first moments of the Big Bang. At the very first, or I should say the earliest moments that we know about, the universe was full of quark gluon plasma. So there weren't even elements. So you can't even form like water. It's just a plasma.
Okay. And that's why I asked you the question.
If the Bible said in the beginning there was quark gluon plasma, I'd be a lot more inclined to believe it. But it does not say that.
No, that's what I'm trying to ask you. Like, so you're telling me the universe, do you need ears to hear, eyes to see, and a mouth to eat? That's what you're telling me. You're telling
evolution did that.
Hey, Mighty, pretend I'm of another religion, and you're convincing me to convert from my religion to your religion. Why should I believe in your religion that trusts the Bible? Pretend that.
Watch this. I'm Dalton. Here, let me start over with you. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm a deist. I believe that God created the universe. Why should I believe the Bible?
All right. So how would you know God exists without the Bible?
You do realize that there are people who believed in the existence of God and other gods before the Bible was ever written?
But because they believe in a God doesn't mean it's the true God.
Yeah, I believe that there's I believe there's a God. Why should I think it's Yahweh?
That's the question. So what would make that God true? He would have to be a creator, right? That's first. and you
Yeah,
have to have proof
the
that
God,
it's
the God I believe in created everything, even the things that Yahweh doesn't create. He creates the things even Yahweh didn't create.
What you mean?
What would make it true is if it like got every scientific and historical fact correct. That would certainly be evidence of its truth, but that's not what the Christian God does.
Because you said that the order was wrong, even though
The order is wrong. It gets,
even though let there
it
be
gets,
light was the first thing. But all right,
yeah, that's
Light
wrong.
wasn't-
The first
yeah,
thing
it's wrong.
was quark, gluon, plasma, not light.
but then that's why I asked you. That's why I go
And
back
in
to
fact,
your.
light didn't.
and for me-
light didn't even exist as a quantum field in that state.
Okay, so
it was the weak, the electroweak force. It
So see,
was.
what
It
you're
hadn't even
doing is-
separated out into the electromagnetic field yet.
see what you're doing is using your belief. So that's why I keep asking you. Now,
No,
I'm
it's
using
not
your-
my
no,
belief.
let-
It's just a
okay.
scientific fact.
Okay, your evidence, right? And then that's why I asked you. So this unconscious universe. How
No,
did it
it's
know you
God.
need a-
No,
it's
no,
an
no,
ear,
no,
a
no,
mouth to
no,
eat.
no, it's not. It's
You
it's
see?
God.
But
No,
he's
it's
using
God.
science,
No,
so I
no,
can't.
Mighty son of
then
God.
I'm
Mighty
bring
son of
up
God.
science then.
No, mighty son of God. No, it's a God. A God did it all. A God used quantum physics to create the universe. Now, show me why I should believe in the Bible. You keep. I think I feel like you don't know anything about the Bible. That's why you don't want to talk about it.
No, that's not what it is. Because I'm debating your beliefs. And you're telling me every time I give you my
no,
belief, you use your
we're
belief.
not.
No.
Now I'm talking about your
Hey,
belief.
That's-
and then-
Mighty.
That's not
don't
what's
talk about my
happening.
belief. Talk about your belief. But you're talking about.
Mighty. Well, no, because the problem is why should I believe in the Bible is you need to give us evidence on how to support your claim. It doesn't mean that if our claim, even if you go through our claim and you say all of it's false and you disprove it all, it doesn't automatically make yours correct. You do
Okay.
understand that, right?
Okay, so
Like,
how would you know God exists and who He is without the Bible? That's what I'm asking.
How is
That's
the
why you should
Bible
believe
the
that's the
right
only way to believe.
answer?
Yeah, the Greek.
Oh my
Greek,
God.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mighty.
it's not a dichotomy.
The Greeks believed in God before the Bible. They used philosophy to come to that conclusion. Let's pretend for a moment that I used philosophy and I came to the conclusion that a God exists. Now tell me why I should believe in your Bible. You're no longer talking
Because
to
to know
you're
God-
no longer talking to an atheist. You're talking to a deist now, a deist who believes in a God who created the universe, and he came to that conclusion through philosophy. So why should I believe that the Bible is true?
Okay, through evidence you should know, right?
Okay, what evidence
How
tells
would
me
you
I
know
should?
God if without evidence?
Yeah. What's
So
the
the
evidence?
Bible is
What's the evidence for
of God
Yahweh?
existing.
Well, no, the Bible's a
The Bible.
claim.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
The Bible's
So
a
Moses
claim.
is the evidence.
Moses didn't
Every
exist.
prophet is the evidence because their testimonies, which is evidence of God.
Hey, Moses wrote about his own fucking death, dude.
Yeah.
Did he
Moses.
actually?
Yes, and the end of the Torah ends with talking about Moses' death, and yet the Torah is supposed to be a book written by Moses. Moses was allegedly the most humble man in the world, which is what Moses wrote in the Torah, that Moses was the most humble man in the world. Moses is a myth. He did not fucking exist. We have no evidence for Moses. When it comes to prophecy, the Bible is full of prophecies that fail.
So, but then you said the Big Bang, which you don't have no evidence of exists.
We have
Oh my
well, we
God,
do.
it's not a dichotomy. You could now, okay, even if you disprove ours, you need to focus on showing that yours is true. And if say both of them are shown to be true, the correct position in that state is to reevaluate and be agnostic. It's not to keep attacking our position. You need to substantiate your claim of this. You're trying to convince us to believe in the Bible, not disprove our beliefs, because it's not going to automatically mean that we believe in the Bible. It would
Also,
just lead
I
us
am
to
going
agnosticism.
To take the bait. I am going to take the bait. We absolutely do have direct evidence of the Big Bang. We can like see it directly with
So you
radio
were there.
telescopes.
So you were there.
We can see it. The Big Bang is technically still happening.
Were you at the events of the
So
Bible?
yes, actually, I was there.
That's the point.
I am
So
still
for-
there.
You have
The
to
Big
be
Bang is still
completely
happening.
Wait a minute. I'm
Coherent
about to
with
turn.
all
I'm about,
your
I'm about to
beliefs.
turn. I'm about to turn this around on Mighty Son of God. Mighty Son of God. Were you there when the Bible took place?
Were you there when the Big Bang took place? No.
Dude,
So that's
no,
what I'm
no.
saying.
Yes,
You can't use
technically
that. You
I
have to
was.
use evidence,
Te- te-
right?
actually
you have to use
was.
evidence.
Technically, we are because the Big Bang's still happening right now.
But what I'm saying is you have to use evidence to make these claims, right?
Yes,
lot of
and
your
you
claims
haven't.
is evidence.
You
and
just
you-
got back
and-
to agnosticism.
and you haven't given us any claims for why, any evidence for why we should believe in the Bible. But the Big
Well-
Bang is something that we don't. It's not something that just happened in the past. It's something that's happening right now. We can see it happening right now.
Okay.
So do you have
Yes,
God
and,
evidence
to
that
and
the
when you
Bible is
aim
true?
radio telescopes, when you
For
aim
God,
radio telescopes into any part of the sky, you will see a constant, essentially low glow from every point in the sky. That is the afterglow of the Big Bang. You can actually form an image of the Big Bang. It's called the microwave background.
I don't
We
think
can
you know it.
directly see it, and it
I don't.
matches the predictions exactly.
I'm not. I don't think you know anything about the Bible, and that's why you refuse to talk about the Bible, mighty son
I,
of God.
I surely do. I
Or
surely do.
science.
Then
I
show it
surely
to. Then
do.
then
But the thing is,
provide
for
the
God to
evidence.
be evidence, you need evidence, right?
No, let's pretend I already believe in a God. Now prove that the Bible is true. Prove to me that you actually know jack shit about the Bible. Give me evidence that the Bible is true.
And I'm trying to tell you that
No, you're
for
not.
God to be evident, you need evidence. The Bible is the evidence.
No, the
What are
Bible
you
is the
saying? That's the
claim.
proof.
The
That's
Bible.
all I'm trying to
Okay,
tell you.
okay. In that case, Islam is true. The evidence, the Quran.
If you believe in that, that's what you believe in, right?
So you just believe everything you read? If it's written
No,
in
no,
a
no.
book?
Hell no.
So
I don't
no,
believe that book because
okay, here, let me say this again. Give me an argument for the Bible being true that doesn't also fucking work for the Quran.
okay. So Jesus resurrected, right? That's
No,
true. That's historical evidence. We have,
no,
bro. That's historical. That's historical. That's not.
it's not.
That's not. Even non-believers say that Jesus was crucified
Yeah, he was
and he
crucified.
resurrected.
He wasn't. He was crucified. He just wasn't resurrected. He's still dead.
Bro, when the Roman went to his tomb, it was empty. That are
What
people.
tomb?
Those are the people
Wait.
who
What tomb?
unlied to
What tomb? Where's the tomb?
the tomb in Israel. What are you talking about?
Yeah, where?
In Israel?
Yeah, there are at least, at the minimum, 3 tombs in Israel that Christians all say belong to Jesus. 3 different tombs. None of them have actual evidence that they belong to Jesus of Nazareth. It's no difference than, for example, there are sites in ancient Egypt where people used to point at these ancient rock tombs and say this was the tomb of the god Osiris. Osiris doesn't fucking exist, but they say that these are the tombs of Osiris. You can point to a tomb and say that belongs to any mythical person, real or mythical person, but if there's no evidence for it, then I'm not going to believe it. So I don't think Jesus was buried in a tomb. The majority of crucifixion
Okay, did
victims,
Jesus?
yeah, I think Jesus probably existed, but the majority of crucifixion
Okay,
victims were thrown in mass graves. I'm going to need good reason to think that Jesus was thrown in a tomb. And where is
so
that tomb?
Jesus existing, and people believing in him, is that not evidence?
Hey, no.
No, because
You first. Okay, I really want to explain this to you. The first question is, why do we believe that Jesus actually existed? And we, as people, point to outside evidence of Jesus. It's very minimum, it's limited. And then we go to the gospel accounts and we say, well, based on things outside of this, like, how do we support this evidence? And how do we know it's definitely not true? How we know it's definitely not true are the number of contradictions in the gospel accounts. Like when Jesus was born, the stories of the resurrections, they all can't possibly be true. So we don't know who wrote it. We don't know where they're getting this information from, if they're not just making it up or believing it to be true because they experienced some sort of vision or revelation, as they may call it. So those are the type of questions that you should be asking in these circumstances, not, well, this book says so, and you're just discarding this just to discard it. No, we have reasons behind it.
Okay, so who unalive Jesus? This is
the
my point I'm
Romans.
gonna make right here. Okay, why would his, as a conscious intellectual human being, why would his enemies build a church for him right after?
They didn't.
That would give. Yes,
They
the
didn't.
Roman Catholic Church. What are you talking
They
about?
didn't. They didn't build churches for hundreds of years. They weren't allowed to.
The-
You do realize that all the early Christians met in homes, in personal homes. They didn't build churches until hundreds of years after Jesus' death.
Okay, but why did his enemies build a church then?
Because
Or
because
a
his
home?
enemies did, and people much later who were converted to Christianity through whatever reasons built churches for him. But the people who directly killed Jesus, like the Roman soldiers, Pontius Pilate, none of them built churches.
Where did Saint Peter die? Or get
We
up?
don't-
Where did
we
he
don't know.
pass away at?
We don't know.
In the Vatican. The
No,
Vatican
we don't
City,
know.
to be
We don't know
exact.
that. We don't know that.
That's literally historical.
That's
fact.
nope. That's a later tradition. That's not a historical. That's not a historical fact. We don't have actually any historical like evidence of like all we have is a passing mention from Clement of Clement of Rome that Paul and Peter were recently killed, but we don't know any of the details regarding Peter's death. Those are from later non-canonical apocryphal sources. We don't have any actual historical evidence of any of the information.
So make me understand why his enemies honored him and praised him.
They
I
didn't.
don't understand this concept. Like
They didn't.
they
People
really
hundreds
did.
people hundreds of years later did. The Romans who fucking killed Jesus didn't honor him. You don't even know the names of any of the fucking Romans that killed Jesus. Can you name one of them except for Pontius Pilate? All we know is Pontius Pilate, and he definitely didn't build a church. He didn't honor Jesus. Do we have any Roman soldiers that you know of that built churches to Jesus in the first century by name?
The empire did, not them. They didn't have that.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of years later when Constantine converted to Christianity because his mom was a Christian. What would you fucking do? That's hundreds of years later. That's not Jesus' enemies. Constantine wasn't even in his father's ball sack when Jesus was being crucified.
Then how did they get to Italy then? How did they get to Rome? Like
Through
you gotta
the
understand
first-
that means
through
that the
fir-
Romans
through the
had
first
to
Jew-
believe for
through
it
the
to get
first
there.
for the first believers, the first few Jewish believers were spreading their religion, and the Jewish people, a lot of the Jewish people didn't buy it because Jesus didn't fulfill prophecies. But like the Greeks accepted it because Jesus, very similar to mystery religions. Therefore, it was kind of like attractive to them. It didn't reach Rome for a couple of decades, and the people who accepted it weren't the same Romans who fucking killed Jesus. We have no evidence that any of the Romans present at the crucifixion became Christians. None.
There's a story about one of the Roman soldiers who ended up actually realizing he was Jesus, and he started preaching. They gouged his eyes out, all these things. So that's
Where is
one person,
where is this story from? How much later
give me a
after the
sec.
crucifixion did it take place?
Give me a second. I got you.
How much you guys want to bet it's just going to be a tradition from a church father well after 100 years after Jesus?
I want to bet that it's a ChatGPT response.
By the way, if you
I'm
stay off
confusing that this shows that God exists. I don't know how that gets to that either.
Well, we've already for the sake
We
of
can
this
debate
argument.
God. You guys don't want to debate God.
No. I've
I
already
can
started.
easily do
No,
that.
shut up.
No, that was a side note of my own. I'm confused. Not about that.
Get back
about
to your
the Bible.
get back to your homework.
Okay, so
go find me. Go back to your homework. Go find me that Roman soldier.
okay,
I'm
all right.
sorry.
Keep talking.
Some keys to
You guys
jingle
amongst
to
yourselves.
get him to focus.
Yeah, I already at the beginning of this conversation just said we believe in God for the sake of this conversation. So, he needs to go do the homework and tell me the name of even one Roman soldier who was present at crucifixion, who became a believer, and where he's getting this information from.
His name was Saint Louis.
Longinus. Saint Louis. He was French. A French guy. Saint Louis.
Yeah, Saint Longinus, whatever his name is, brother.
Yeah,
I don't know how they say it. I'm not
where-
Italian, bro.
And where do
I
you
don't know
get this information about Longinus?
That's an unfortunate name.
It is. He had a Longinus. He fell on his spear. He did have a long penis, but then he fell on his spear, and now he's a Longinus. But anyways,
Good for her.
no, he still identifies as he him. He just had an unfortunate
Testimonies.
accident.
We don't know that.
Eyewitnesses
the
We don't know that.
From who? Source.
The Romans, literally.
Oh, wow, that's very vague. It's very vague. Can you be more specific?
I would take the Romans credible.
Who?
Like that,
Who and when?
The Romans. It
Who
doesn't
and
matter
when? Yes, who? It does matter who
Do you know
and when.
everyone's-
Who and when? Who and when? Where are you getting this information?
Do you know your
Who and when?
great
Who
grandfather's
and
name?
when?
No. So
If you're gonna make if all you got is vaguely some Roman said it and you don't know who and you don't know when, I'm just not going to believe you.
Because, bro, all
You're
right.
full
So
of
if
shit.
you don't know your great grandfather,
I know his last name.
If you don't know your great grandfather,
Jackson Hudspeth.
did he exist? Did he exist? Did he exist?
Yes, Jackson Hudspeth. Insert my last name because I'm not going to say it. Jackson Hudspeth was a Confederate soldier. I've seen his grave. Fuck him, by the way. Now, mighty son of God, if you can't tell me who said that Longinus was an actual person at the crucifixion and became a Christian, and you can't tell me when, then you basically, your information is null and void. We don't give a fuck. It's just a story.
So how do humans use to track history? That's why I gotta ask you that question.
Yeah, we have historians. We have historians like Josephus in the 1st century. Nicholas of Damascus was the court Nicholas of Damascus was the court historian. Herod the Great. What historian tells us that Longinus was a Roman soldier present at the crucifixion and became a Christian? How much later after the crucifixion was this story come from, and who gives us this information? Or was it just a later tradition from a church father? How much you want to bet it's from a later tradition from a church father?
I don't know, but did Longinus and a lot of vagina from Austin Powers ever meet?
Yes, they're cousins.
Okay.
All right.
That's actually his last name.
All right, they said Pontius Pilate is 60 now.
Pontius Pilate never wrote anything. We have we have no records from Pontius Pilate.
There's the Acts of Pilate.
Yeah, the Acts of Pilate's a forgery. It's from the 4th century CE. It's not even written by Pontius Pilate. You really are just reading the first thing you find on the internet and using that as your argument instead of knowing what you're talking about.
No, I gave you my answer, but you want like concrete.
No,
I'm telling you,
no, that's not
the Roman Empire.
That's not your answer. That's not your. That's not.
Jesus,
No. You just went on the internet and found the very first thing you could possibly find without fact checking it, which is why you're not a credible individual to give us any information, any evidence on Jesus, because all you do is go online, find the very first thing that corroborates what you believe, and you just believe it on without any like amount of criticism. You found
it's like when did you become an expert on this? 5 minutes ago.
For real, like fucking the Acts of Pilate wasn't written by fucking Pontius Pilate. It was written hundreds of years after Pilate was already dead. The majority of scholars, this is the consensus of the scholarship, no actual scholar believes the Acts of Pilate isn't real work from Pontius Pilate. You got to be fucking kidding me. This is what did I tell you guys? A later tradition.
Well, personally, I can easily make you believe in God.
I don't give a shit. So, I don't give a shit because I could believe in God and I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
And then I say, how did the Romans start believing in God? Because they didn't believe in.
I already told you. I already told. Fuck. Okay. They became to believe in Christianity the same way that all people come to believe in religions. Members of the religion go out, attempt to convince people to convert, and then those people either are smart enough and critical enough they don't accept it, or they're gullible enough that they do accept it. Christianity was very attractive to a Roman audience because it fits all the same criteria as ancient mystery cults do. And again, it didn't become accepted by the empire as a whole until hundreds of years after Jesus of Nazareth. There is no evidence of any actual individuals present at the crucifixion who became Christians. No evidence. We don't know any of their names. All you gave us was a 4th century text, a forgery. This is sad.
Well, you keep asking for evidence. My evidence is the Roman Empire, but you're asking for more. And you're like, I need specific dates.
That's not evidence. The fact that the fact that the Romans came to believe in Christianity hundreds of years later because the Roman emperor became a Christian isn't evidence that the Gospels are true and reliable and historical. That's just evidence that people hundreds of years after the Gospels were gullible enough to believe in the book.
Was Paul a
Back
Christian?
then, believed in all sorts
Always
of
a
things.
Christian?
Like the humors, the 4 humors of the body, and everything. That
Yeah.
what was it like attaching leeches to your body would suck out diseases and everything. They
Yeah,
believed
these
all sorts
people.
of weird stuff that was wrong.
Yes, Paul was a
Okay, was
Christian
Paul a-
because because he
Always.
had a visionary hallucinatory experience.
I said always a Christian.
No, he was not always a Christian.
Okay.
Most people
So-
who
so-
can actually, fun fact, 100% of the people who convert to Christianity were at one point not Christian.
Okay. So what made them believe in something that you don't believe in?
Yeah,
Evidence,
he had a hallucin.
So
No,
you
he
can
had
trust these people,
Well,
right?
no, Paul had by Paul's own admission, he had like some sort of visionary experience. In other words, Paul was seeing things that weren't real.
Wait, was your
So, isn't
argument just that other people must be using
Yeah.
evidence for their beliefs? So therefore, like that would mean that you have to accept the beliefs of all people that ever existed,
I was
and that's
literally just about
that's
to
an
say that. Yeah.
absurd. That's absurd, Mighty.
You said the Bible. I didn't say anybody else. I'm just telling you what you can use to believe
Yeah,
the
you're
Bible.
then you're just special pleading to your belief system.
You're not very good at this, mighty son of God.
How? You just asked me why I should believe in the Bible.
Your
and give you
justifications
reasons.
aren't justifications. That's why.
The whole point is, it's one thing if a group of people all agree on something because they all agreed on it at the same time. It's different when no one agreed on it and then something happens. They're like, "Dang, I definitely agree with this." but I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
agree with it now."
I'll tell what happened was that one of them, being Peter, had a bereavement hallucination and saw his dead rabbi, and then he told the rest of the believers who already believed he was the Messiah, and through expectation and priming, they had visionary experiences of some kind or another. This doesn't mean Jesus actually resurrected. It just means that these grieving people who really wanted Jesus to be the Messiah convinced themselves one way or another that Jesus was actually resurrected. We have no evidence that he actually was resurrected.
No, why would Paul do that if he didn't like Christians? That's what I'm trying. You have to make that make sense. Make that make sense.
We don't know anything about the circumstances that led to Paul's conversion. We know nothing about it. We don't know if Paul had a loved one who became a Christian and therefore he was convinced through evidence and then he had his visionary experience. We don't know if Paul felt a lot of grief surrounding the fact that he was persecuting Christians and then he was convinced and then he had visionary hallucinations. We know nothing about the conversion experience of Paul. Nothing.
So what is your burden? What burden of proof do you need to believe? That's what I'm trying to ask. You keep asking. You said, "Okay, find this." So I gave you that, and you're like, "No, I don't take that." Then I gave you this. You're like,
I'm not doing
"What's
your
burden of
homework.
proof?"
I'm not doing your. I don't have a burden of proof. You do. I'm not doing your homework.
I'm
for
asking,
you.
what's your burden of proof?
I don't
'Cause
have a
obviously,
burden. I don't have.
I don't know
one.
what your burden of proof.
I don't. I
Here,
don't
I'll
think you know
give
what
you
that
one.
word means. I don't think you know what that phrase means.
Like, if you had some archaeological evidence that any of the supernatural stuff happened, that would be a start.
That's what. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think
That's a burden of proof.
Dalton would probably believe in the Bible if you could demonstrate messianic prophecy existed. I mean, that's
Oh,
Prophecy
yeah.
is a good one.
yeah.
If Jesus fulfilled even one prophecy, I would believe he was the Messiah.
Okay, so they said that Jesus was born of a virgin without a father.
That's not prophesied in the Hebrew Bible.
Do you take Mary's word for it? You have to take the word for
Well,
it, right?
Even if Jesus was born of a virgin, that's not prophesied in the Hebrew Bible.
He was born without a father. That's a miracle.
That's not a prophecy. Do you know
That's
what
a miracle.
prophecy?
You said
Do
a
you-
miracle too.
No,
what-
he
no, I heard
says
you- I
swear I heard you
prophecy.
say miracle.
Here, maybe I need to restate because you weren't listening. Here, get the earwax out of your ears and listen. I said I would believe Jesus was the Messiah if he fulfilled messianic prophecy. Messianic prophecy are predictions of the future made by prophets in the Old Testament about the future Messiah. If Jesus fulfilled any of them, I would believe he was the Messiah. Also, Adriel and you will get to go as we'll go JSB and then we'll go Adriel. That's the order of events of the guests that we'll be taking up. So everyone gets to be patient. Remember, patience is a virtue according to the New Testament. So, mighty Son of God, can you provide us with any prophecies in the Old Testament that Jesus fulfilled? Also, Poop Man said, definitely not a miracle to be born without a father, champ. Sadly, lots of kids in America are born without dads. Okay, Adriel. Hey, have a good night.
He will be pierced for our transgressions. Did he fulfill that prophecy?
Nope, because that doesn't say pierced in the original Hebrew. He was wounded because of our transgressions. That's what Isaiah 53 says. And that's not about the Messiah. That's about the nation of Israel. He was wounded for our transgressions, because of our transgressions.
And his wounds were healed.
By his wounds we are healed. Resurrected. But no, not his wounds are healed. By his wounds we are healed. This is about the nation of Israel suffering in the exile. Isaiah 53 isn't even about the Messiah.
It literally was, bro.
It literally isn't, bro. Isaiah 52 verse 13 tells you that the individual being spoken about is the servant of Yahweh. And throughout the book of Isaiah, the servant of Yahweh is repeatedly said to be the nation of Israel.
Also, before he leaves, I want to ask him one science question, just so you know.
All right. Before I go, I want to talk to Quantum about God versus science. That's why I came up here for, by the way.
Ignore that and go straight to this.
Yeah, Quantum has a very specific question for you, and you'll answer his question. So Quantum, ask weak son of God your question.
I just wanted to ask, what do you think we think the Big Bang was?
You guys believe that the universe came from nothing? That's what it sounds like.
Wrong. That is not what the Big Bang is.
And expanded and expanded.
Thank you.
You were wrong.
That is
right
not
off
what the Big Bang is. Thank you for playing.
That tells us everything we need to know. But anyways, weak son of God, you did a horrible job trying to convince us the Bible is true. Maybe go and do some homework, learn the Bible a little bit better, and maybe you have a better chance next time.
Maybe open a science textbook too.
Yeah. Open any book, God's sake. All right.
It sounds like he's got some psychology questions back there too. We can add that subject.
Okay, let's see. Real quick, I just gotta.
Why do people? I heard a lot. Why do people do things?
All right. Okay, let's see.
He's like, if people would do that, just write books and tell lies?
Oh my god. Well, maybe not lies. They probably believed, or at least many people believed it. They were convinced of things that weren't true and wrote it down.
I'm doing the meme. I'm doing the meme.
We got JSB here. JSB, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18?
I keep doing that.
JSB?
I think this person might be up here by mistake.
Yeah. All right. Ashland, look at the message I just sent you once on Discord.
Not sure you had one.
Yeah, one. Yeah. I'm so afraid I might have to go get a job now. Anyways, people are people, so why should it be? People are people, so why should it be music? Believing in the Bible is believing in its God, but you don't want to debate that. No, I already told you. I already accept. I could just, for the sake of this argument, I don't know what's going on up here, mighty son of God. But I already told you that even if I believed in God, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible. I said that to you like 5 times. No, Ashland, don't do that. No, I mean, there's no rush here. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Even if I believed in God, I told you this like fucking 5 times. Even if I believed in God, I still wouldn't believe in the fucking Bible. Like, how dense are you?
a lot of people think it's like a true dichotomy. Either you're an atheist or you believe in the Bible. And there's no other options.
Here, I'm going to bring him up, and I'm going to see if he understands what I'm saying. Mighty Son of God, do you understand what I am saying to you?
The question is, why should you believe in the Bible? My question is, so why should you believe in my God? Because my God is described in the Bible.
Yeah, therefore, why should I believe specifically that Yahweh exists? I'd say I believe in a God. Why should I think it's fucking Yahweh?
You know, especially your book says that I'm property, and that also your God is like all good. So like that's a contradiction. Contradictions can't be true. Does that make sense? Like when we evaluate what the book says. Exodus 20:17, you shall not covet your neighbor's a wife, male or female slave, ox, donkey, or anything belonging to him. And then actually there's no word for a wife. It just says woman there. Also, Deuteronomy 21:10-14 says that when you, actually it's a great verse. But when you what is it? When you buy a woman, basically, or go get a woman, he is her Baal, master. And that's just the language that's used. I mean, it's all over the text, but I gave you a very specific verse that says
you have to ask yourself this. Was that from God or was that from the person who wrote it?
That was the Ten Commandments. That is the 10th commandment.
Wait. If you're going to say that, then guess what? Everything that says Jesus resurrected from the dead, not from a God, it's just from a person who wrote it. None of it's from God.
Okay. Did Israel have slaves? Where Moses left Egypt, did they have slaves?
Yep. Exodus 21, Leviticus 22, or 22, 44 through 48.
25.
Why does it say that if a slave goes to Israel, you must not enslave them?
A fellow Israelite.
Because
No.
Yeah, here, let's read. Nope, we're going to read the Bible now. We're going to show that you don't know jack shit about the Bible. All right. Leviticus chapter 25, I'm going to pull it up on the screen so that the guest has no excuse and can't lie to my audience, which is something they seem to be really good at doing. Let's take a look. All right. Leviticus chapter 25. We'll start with verse 40, let's see, 46. Actually, no, 44. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you, and from their families who are with you, who have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness. So yes, you're not allowed to own a fellow Israelite as a slave, but guess what? You can have slaves from among the nations.
Okay, did it say the Lord God said? Did it say that?
Yeah, verse 1. Literally the whole chapter begins with, Yahweh spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai saying, and all of this is God speaking.
And like I think even if you study like recent American history, if you're, I don't know if you're from the US, this is like very present when you study on like what the excuses were from the South when saying that they could have individuals as property, specifically Black individuals. Use quotes from the Bible to justify this as well. Just
Yeah, I know.
yeah, and that's why, because it's there, right?
So because you're able to be a slave in a time where money didn't exist.
Money existed. Money existed. They had shekels. Money existed at this time.
And yeah, I hold a position that slavery is always wrong.
Yeah.
So
Why do you not hold that position? Is slavery sometimes okay for you?
I mean, if what type of slavery are you talking about?
Oh,
you
no,
talking
that's
about
the
like
wrong answer.
indentured servitude?
Oh,
Oh,
the
no.
owning of another human being as property.
Not American slavery. I'm talking about
Yeah,
indentured servitude.
yes, the
In
owning of another
any
human
type of
being as
slavery,
property.
the slavery in America in our 14th Amendment is also wrong. I can say that with like surety. All
Yeah.
slavery is wrong.
Also,
indentured servitude is
also wrong.
Also, indentured servitude is also wrong. But guess what? The slavery mentioned here in Leviticus 25 isn't indentured servitude. Indentured servants and also slaves you could have in the Hebrew Bible. These are people that you are buying from the nation. It says specifically that you can pass them on as a possession to your children. This is chattel slavery.
I never know why they think that arguing that it was just diet slavery is a better argument.
Yeah,
like
it's
even
not
if
genocide.
that were true,
it's
that's
diet
still
genocide.
not a good look.
Yeah.
No, I'm being for real. Like, what type of? Because when you guys think of slavery, everyone's like American slavery.
The only difference between the slavery of the Bible and the slavery of antebellum slavery is that antebellum slavery was race based, and the slavery of the Bible you could fucking own anyone who wasn't an Israelite as a slave. That's the only difference. You can beat your slaves in the Bible according to Exodus chapter 21 verses 20-21. You own them as a possession. You can pass them on to your kids. They are your property according to Exodus 21:21.
I don't know, man. I would have to see that to believe it. But I just believe that it was indentured servitude.
Well, no, it's not indentured because what is were you not listening to when I just read to you from the Bible? They may be your property. They're your property. You keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. That's not indentured servitude. That's chattel slavery.
So they were going out their way to get these people and bringing them to Israel. Like, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, you can buy them from, it says here, it says that you can buy them from the nations.
Good.
It says you can buy them from the nations.
See, so I would have to be relative.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Do you think indentured servitude is good?
Okay, no, I would say you have to use relativity.
Hey, is Black Atheist Rants in here, or a creator like that? Anyone want to send a little? Because there might be a conversation that maybe we, yeah.
I will tell you this. It always disappoints me to no end when I see individuals whose ancestors were probably slaves in America sitting here on my live defending slavery. It's horrible.
Just telling you the truth.
No, you're not telling me the truth. You're trying to make.
Are people a commodity?
They're not.
Human beings are commodities.
People are not commodities. They are not possessions. You are not to own them as property. Even if the Bible says it's okay, the Bible's fucking wrong. Guess what? If I want to quit my job, I can just walk out. Can a slave just walk out?
Then you'd be homeless. And
can a slave walk? Can a slave walk out?
Well, you're a slave to the United States. You don't know that, but you are.
No. I can move to another country if I wanted to. I can just leave.
Do you pay taxes in any of these countries?
That doesn't matter. Paying taxes.
As long as you pay taxes, you're working for someone else.
Paying taxes doesn't make you a slave. I am not the slavery is when you are owned as property by another human being. I'm not the property of any person. I'm not the property of America. I can leave anytime I want to. Slaves don't get to fucking leave. The American, what happens if the
they could.
No, they can't. They will get brought back. They'll get rung back to their slave owner. If I leave America, America's not going to send a fucking search party for me to bring me back. America doesn't get to beat me within an inch of my life as long as I don't die in 2 or 3 days.
That was literally the cause of the Civil War, by the way. The question of whether or not the government could force people to return back to their slave owners across state lines. That was like literally the whole point.
Isn't a Social Security card
every time
making property?
Every time you try to make one of these shit, dumbass analogies and try to say that slavery is being a citizen of a country, that is majorly disrespectful.
No, I would say that you're a commodity.
Shut up, mighty son of God. Every time you make one of these dumbass analogies, it is a huge disrespect to every person who has been a slave or who is a slave.
This is like sovereign citizen level arguments.
I said that you were a commodity. That was my whole point of saying everything I just said.
I'm an autonomous
commodity.
I have autonomy according to the United States of America. I have bodily autonomy. I'm not owned as property by the state. I can leave if I fucking want to. They can't fucking beat me. They can't sell me off to someone else. I'm not a slave by any real metric of the word. What you're doing here is gross.
We have these things called rights that slaves don't have.
If you don't pay your taxes, do you go to jail?
Oh my God.
And then you become a slave right then and there. Then.
By the way, I'm against I'm against the prison system. By the way, as it currently stands, I'm against it.
That's a form of slavery. If I don't pay taxes and I go to jail,
and we think it's wrong. Also, is there like a atheist representation that maybe could come up and add to this conversation? I would like someone that maybe from this individual's own community that may be able to talk to them, because I don't want to just sit here and yell at this individual on subjects that aren't really ours to always yell about. And I'm not saying that you can't be like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's not saying that we can't obviously criticize his positions. That is not what I'm saying. I could, but it's pointless. Pumpkin Gnome, I don't know who you're an atheist, Pumpkin Gnome? I just don't know who you are. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't even think it has to be an atheist. It just has to be somebody with basic common sense.
Yeah, honestly. Maybe let Pumpkin Gnome up for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see.
We'll try this out.
Good evening.
Hello, Pumpkin Gnome.
Evening. Well, Mighty, I haven't talked to you personally, but here our people are again. I think you know exactly why and for what reason slavery is bad. Can you tell me why slavery might be bad, Mighty?
Because no one is your master.
Okay. But God is your master.
I just said, but God. And
okay, well, you didn't say that. But yes, in particularly, if you check out, there's a Bible museum in Washington, D.C. It's actually the Bible Museum, and it costs like $100-something to get into it, which I find hilarious. But there is actually a copy of the Bible that they used to give to slaves. It's called a slave Bible or a slaver's Bible. And that slave Bible, they took out all of the parts of the Bible that included freedom, freedom from kings, winning wars, things like that, and put in the slave Bible all of the passages about how you should respect, tolerate, and obey your master. And if a second thing is, if you don't know, I'm sure you've been in an old-fashioned church where there's a balcony above all the seating. That is where they used to put slaves and Black people. Black people used to only be allowed to sit in that balcony. So even inside of the church, where we were supposed to be getting a Christian message, Christian quote unquote, we were still separated. Now, you might say that as man, but as the 4 people on this live have told you many, many times, you can find this right in your own Bible. And I don't think it's necessarily healthy to adopt the religion of those who oppressed you. Let's just be honest about that.
I'm a Christian, by the way. I'm not a Jew, but
were you listening to what I said?
I'm just saying I'm a Christian. Jesus never told you.
It was the Christians who
Yeah.
oppressed you. It was oppressed your
Yeah,
ancestors.
it was, yeah.
No,
And
no,
also,
they
we
didn't
also
follow
have to,
Jesus.
wait a minute, we also have to talk about that. We also have to talk about that because I want you to think to the civil rights movement. So Black people are constantly being bombarded in our media, whatever, with this sort of anti-Semitic trope. And I want you to think to the civil rights movement. What people helped us, marched with Dr. King, or in that photo with him on the Edmund Pettus Bridge with John Lewis? Orthodox and Reform Jewish people.
FYI, Jews funded the slave trade.
The fuck?
Yes, they did.
Listen, I know that there were Jewish slaveholders. There are definitely Jewish slaveholders. But by and large, Jewish people did not hold slaves in as high a number as you could say white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christians did.
No,
There's just
funded.
no
I didn't say they
comparison
did.
whatsoever.
I said they funded. I didn't say they were the slave owners. I said they funded it.
No, but you're kind of missing my point.
Getting to like flat Earth levels of conspiracy theories.
Well, yeah, we are getting to flat Earth levels of conspiracy, which is very unfortunate because
But
all of this goes together.
By the way, I'm not a Jew, by the way. I follow Jesus,
Jesus
by
here?
the way. But anyway.
I
Jesus was
didn't mention
pro-slavery.
anything about being Jewish, but because I made the most sense, you just decided to gish gallop. So I don't really know if anything can be done with you at this point, quite frankly, and I hate to do this in white company, you know, keep the stupidity out of the movement. Because we're trying to get to another place. You want to stay in one place. If you want to kind of go further on this, there is a TikToker and a podcaster. His name is Deontay Kyle. Just type in Deontay Kyle Anunnaki. He makes a perfect argument for people like you.
I know who that is. Yeah.
Dreaming about the Anunnaki and dreaming about flat Earth and dreaming about a God that might exist is a lot than doing the work you need to do here. It's a lot easier than making sure that every nation on Earth is stripped of their nuclear weapons. It's a lot easier than feeding children. It's a lot easier than having actual relationships. Okay?
Two things. One,
all of that other stuff is holding you back. I just want to tell you that. But if you don't really want to get with that, then that's fine. You know, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
No, I'm not a Jew, so it doesn't matter.
Two things. One, Pumpkin Gnome, I'm going to give you a follow. Two,
and everyone should do that in this live.
Yeah. Mighty Son of God. Jesus was pro-slavery. Slavery is in the Torah. Jesus was pro-Torah. Jesus taught his followers that the Torah, you should follow it. And so you're going to sit here and say, I'm a follower of Jesus. That means you have to agree with Jesus, and Jesus was pro-slavery. So it's not. So let's stop pointing fingers at the Jews.
Why the Pharisees?
I know it's probably the problem with the Pharisees, according to the New Testament, Pumpkin Gnome. I'm sorry, not Pumpkin Gnome. Sorry, Mighty Son of God, is that they weren't keeping God's law. Jesus' number one complaint against them was that they weren't observing the law of Moses. The law of Moses, which Jesus says you cannot nullify the word of God, and that he did not come to abolish the law, says that slavery is okay.
Well, love thy neighbor, but like thyself goes against the
slavery isn't your neighbors slaves aren't your neighbor. Slaves aren't your neighbor in the Hebrew Bible.
You're supposed to get slaves from the nations around you. I think this might be like the 15th time saying it.
Those are your neighbors. Okay.
Nope. What? So wait.
No.
Yes or no? Did Jesus agree with the law of Moses?
I don't think so.
All right. Matthew 5:17
because
through
he was
19.
attacked for not because he was attacked for not.
Matthew 5:17 through 19. Do not think that I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Verily I say to you, until heaven and earth passes away, not a jot, not a tittle will pass from the law until all is fulfilled. Therefore, whoever breaks the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever does and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For unless your righteousness surpasses the scribes and the Pharisees, you have no place in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus was pro-law, and the law is pro-slavery.
So did Jesus have slaves If he's pro law, did he have a slave? Because he said, "Follow me," too. Also,
did Jesus ever have a menstruation?
What?
Because if you're going to make the claim that, well, did Jesus have slaves? You don't have to fucking own slaves in order to be pro-slavery. You can just agree, because Jesus, don't forget this. Jesus was a nomad. He didn't he didn't even fucking own property. You think he's going to own slaves if he doesn't own property? But that doesn't mean he's not pro-owning property. It doesn't mean that he's pro-slavery. That he's not pro-slavery. Jesus himself testified that the Old Testament was the law of God, that it was the right thing to do, that if you want to enter the life, you have to keep the commandments. And those commandments include slavery. Unless you want to make the claim that Jesus...
That commandment. No, Jesus
said the entirety of the law. He said not a jot or tittle. A jot is the smallest letter, and a tittle is a stroke of a letter. Not a jot or tittle will pass from the law until all is fulfilled. Are all prophecies fulfilled?
So owning slavery is a prophecy. Owning slaves is a prophecy. What you're telling me.
I think there's something wrong here. I don't think you are simply incapable of following a simple line of conversation. You're a lost cause. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to ask you a question. What did the scribes and the Pharisees teach the law of Moses?
They enforced them, yes.
And what did Jesus say in Matthew 23 verses 1-2 about those scribes and the Pharisees? The scribes and the Pharisees the scribes and the Pharisees, this is a quote from Jesus. The scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moses. Therefore, whatever they teach you to do, do it. That's what Jesus said.
Why did he rebuke them?
Because they weren't doing what they taught. They were being hypocrites.
Yeah, they were following more of the oral tradition and forsaking, or as he put it, forsaking the biblical law. They used, what did Justin say? He was talking about it one time. He said that they used the oral Torah as a hedge around biblical law, Old Testament law, so that people would have less of a chance of breaking that Old Testament law. And they followed it to such an extent that it put them outside of the bounds of the original law.
Here's what I think.
That's what he was rebuking. That's what he was rebuking. I mean, all of it is fake anyway. But it's like Lord of the Rings and the Walking Trees. It's like the Walking Trees. They went to the council and they decided to help the people. Whatever.
Here's what I think, mighty Son of God. I think that you don't know jack shit about the Bible. You've made that very clear. You don't know jack shit about history.
I know about God. That's my expertise.
No, you don't.
You don't want to talk about God.
You don't know anything about God.
Science.
Okay, here I'm gonna show that you don't know anything about God. Okay, mighty Son of God. Is God change?
No.
Really? Matthew, Exodus 32 verse 14. God, it says, and the Lord changed his mind concerning the evil he was going to do to his people. God does change. Does God create evil?
No.
Isaiah 45 verse 7. I create light and darkness. I create good and evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Is God all knowing?
Hold on. What is evil to you?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Like if God made humans,
it doesn't matter. No. Oh wait, no. Then you contradict the book of Genesis. What does it say? What did God say on day 6 when he looked at all his creation? What did he say?
He said it was good.
It was good. So he didn't create the humans evil. And that's not what that means.
None of was evil. Okay, so now was everything good or was everything evil?
We're not going to go on this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep showing the audience you don't know jack shit about God. Is God all knowing?
Of course.
When he goes into the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve are hiding, what does he say?
You talking about after the Apple situation?
There's no fucking apple in the story.
What are you talking about?
There's no apple in the story. The
They
fruit of
from
knowledge.
fruit?
Yeah, the fruit is not an apple. Never says that.
Okay, so
I'll just give you the
he said,
answer.
why are you hiding from me behind the fig
Nope,
leaves?
nope. He didn't say that. He said, "Where are you?" They're hiding behind the fig leaves, and God says, "Where are you?" He doesn't know where they are. Is God all present?
Hell yeah.
All right. Why is it? What does it say in Genesis 18? When they're on the way to Sodom and Gomorrah, he says to Abraham, "I have to go. The cry of Sodom and Gomorrah has come up to me. I have to go and see if it's as bad as I've heard." He has to travel from point A to point B just to find something out. So I'm going to end the conversation here. And as I've just demonstrated to the audience, you don't know jack shit about the God that you're trying to push out there. There we go. Pumpkin Gnome.
Well, that was fun, but I have to go to my Dr. Monster's appointment with Dr. Monster.
You have a wonderful day.
We
Thank you for coming
appreciate
out.
you. Thank you, Pumpkin. Yeah. So real quick, Dan asked a question, then comments really quick. In Luke 17:10, did Jesus call his believers worthless slaves? And I think the answer is kind of in a sense, but not really.
Let's see.
It's a parable.
So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, "We are worthless slaves. We have done only what we ought to have done." Throughout the New Testament, Christians are depicted as being slaves of God. Just see Paul's own work in Romans chapter 6. He believes you're either a slave to sin or a slave to righteousness, and he refers to himself as a doulos Jesu Christou, a slave of Jesus Christ. And of course, the idea is that in comparison to God, we are worthless. So, Jesus does see himself as superior to his disciples, and to them, they are in a way worthless in the sense that in comparison to God and also in comparison to him. But yeah, we are worms. We are worms writhing in the field of our own corruption. Skyrim people, you get that. I got some super chats here. Hi Lou, good to see you there. All right,
Act Burn Love Bond with the $2. Inflammatory deflection avoids burden of proof.
Oh yeah, I at least twice in that conversation, he used the phrase burden of proof, and I don't think he knew what that phrase meant because he was using it all the wrong ways. Yeah.
And then at Mike B. Dim with $10. Devout Christian here. I don't know why have you to be so mean to us using facts and all. Facts were made by the devil, and we don't believe in that, so stop being so mean to us. Rock hard for Dalton.
Facts are of the devil. Facts are of the devil, Bobby Boucher. Oh man, that's so funny. Okay, maybe we need to do a quick reboot on TikTok, and maybe we'll get some new, fresh opposition in here. Oh, actually, no, we got a guess. So
we crave the meat.
We got Logan here, but then now we don't have Logan here, so they disappeared. So yeah, we'll just do the restart.
Fastest concession ever.
Bam. All right, here we go. Just gonna do a quick restart. Man, I got heated on that last debate, I'll admit. People who defend slavery. Was I wrong for getting I don't think so, but god damn, guys.
What are you saying wrong?
Oh no, I was like talking about how heated I got in that last debate. Rightfully so, I think, though. Fuck slavery.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Poop.
Poop. Yeehaw!
Poop.
Thank you for the cowboy hat.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get like representation, so it's not just like a bunch of white individuals yelling at a black individual.
I needed that, by the way, because first and foremost, their voice was extremely soothing, and I needed that. So, Pumpkin Gnome, if you're out there, your voice is soothing, and I appreciate it. 1 second, I need to grab myself a bottle of water because I'm thirsty AF. 1 second.
Stotsky is back, guys. We can start the live now. Just FYI. Oh, thank you, Stotsky. While Dalton's gone, if you can afford super chats, he would be much appreciated. Just FYI, he's wondering if he has to get a job because like a 9-to-5 type of job. You know, we're trying to figure out ways and how to make this a more suitable environment so that y'all want to come back and do things, and you know, it would be much appreciated. He probably can still hear me now, and he's probably embarrassed. I also want to give a shout out to everyone that's just here and watching, and especially our mods. Y'all are awesome. We appreciate y'all. St. Brianna said, job. I mean, this is a job. He does a lot of work outside of this. Now that he's back, I'm talking about him in front of his face, like third person.
You're muted, Dalton.
Oh, you're talking about me now? Okay, I'm gonna bring up our next cast for the live. Adriel, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. Adriel, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 18. Well, I'm 20, but yeah.
All right, question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then question number 3, do you believe the Bible?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Why should I believe in the Bible?
I'm not going to be up here too long. I just wanted to ask you, do you think the Bible is specifically what Christ left us?
No. I think Jesus left us a corpse.
He left us a corpse. So, where is his teachings held?
His teachings? Like the historical Jesus teachings?
Just the teachings that Christians believe are held.
Nowhere. I've never met a Christian that actually
Just
does what Jesus actually said.
Just don't speak from a specific bias. Are you just up here to debate people, or are you actually trying to learn something?
Yeah, there are no Christians today who do what Jesus taught.
Sure, if that's what you think.
Yeah, I mean,
so
do you keep the
Jesus
Torah?
Christ did not leave a book for us. For 400 years, the book that you're referring to, the Bible, was not.
I know why you're asking
for
this.
400 years. Please don't interrupt me. I'm teaching. If you don't want to hear me, just say that. Okay, brother. Have a good night.
Okay.
God bless you.
Bye. May the force be with you. Typical Catholic/Orthodox Christian, right? I knew what you were saying. You don't believe Jesus left us a book. You believe he left us a church with sacred tradition instead of sacred scripture. And therefore, when it comes to whatever is true Christianity, you have to go by whatever the fucking church says. I'm ex-Catholic. I know the spiel. And neither you nor any Catholic or Orthodox I've ever met actually do what Jesus taught. I knew it was going to be a shit conversation as soon as I heard him laugh at the pronoun question. Stupidity tries. It does, doesn't it? He says, I'm going to teach you something. Like, I already fucking know what exactly he's about to say. I'm ex-Catholic. I know exactly the spiel. I know the spiel. What does that have to do with the validity of the Bible? I guess we'll never find out. He just
Dalton.
He was just going to make a bunch of arguments from authority. What's up?
Guess what we just found out? Quantonaut, I'll let you break the news. It'll be your honor.
So apparently, the guy who was spamming a bunch of quotes at me, and the guy who was like talking to Ashland, same guy.
Same guy. Of fucking course. Yeah. Why am I not surprised? Bob has also bothered me, and so surprise, surprise, Bob hasn't shown his face on this live yet.
But he claims maybe he is blocked from you then.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did block him. That's right. I blocked him because he kept messaging me and kept bothering me. That's
unblock
right.
him.
Yeah, sure.
Unblock him just for a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
Since we're all volatile and sensitive, you know, just really show him how volatile and sensitive we are.
Let me look at my settings here. Let's see.
He kept saying like, "Oh, all you atheists, you focus so much on Christians all the time. You must hate us. That's a psychological problems." And I said, most of the lives that I do are anti-flat earther lives. Does that mean that I'm secretly a flat earther?
Fun fact, Christians, when I'm not doing this, I'm not thinking about you. But you're definitely thinking about me. Okay, let's take a look. Where do I go to find who I blocked?
The thing is he like said all this negative stuff after I told him an atheist, like to my face. Like I wasn't gonna take offense to it when I like said nothing to this individual. Like I live with a Christian. I've been in deep relationship with Christians. Like I don't hate all Christians. Like some of my best friends on this app are Christians. Like what are you? And I wouldn't dare say what I do in this live to their face in regards to this thing. And meanwhile, he approached me. I did not approach him.
I fucked a Christian, so I definitely say don't hate all of them.
Yeah. The main reason why I've gotten into this is just because most flat earthers happen to use the Bible to try to justify their anti-science views. So it's like, hey, you're the ones that forced me into this.
All right, let's go to our blocked accounts and let's see where I can find old Bob.
It's in quotes.
It's a picture of Jesus. It's like red.
I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got like less than 2 dozen blocked people, and Bob isn't one of them.
Well then.
Here,
he sent me a screenshot, the account not found. But I think that same thing happens when other people block, like you block that person as well, but I'm not sure.
What's their username? I mean, they call it Bob, but what's his like at?
Let's see here. I might have to leave the app briefly to
no,
find it.
I've got another device.
Oh, okay.
Unless, let's see. At KHALIL.
Whoa.
PAR.
At
a lot of letters.
KH.
At KH.
AL. Oh, by the way, do not go and harass this individual. Let me just type it to you. Let me send it to you because I don't want other people to go. Not that I think
we don't do that here.
Now, Dragon Knight says atheism and Christianity I bet they meant to say both. Require a good deal of faith and whether there is a God or not. No, actually, atheism requires no faith. It's a lack of belief.
Okay. Atheism is literally just the null hypothesis. It's the default position that you take until you find evidence. Like, you wouldn't say that you're agnostic about unicorns existing, right? Like, I don't have faith that unicorns don't exist. That's not how that works.
It's funny how. So yeah, I'm.
Hold on. Dyslexia Jones 11 said some of my best friends are Christians. LOL. My best friend is black. You're not part of an impressed fucking group. Like, what the heck is wrong with you?
They want to be oppressed so bad.
I know. I'm not tokenizing them because there's no token to be had because they're not an oppressed group.
Dragon Knight says, but you can't compare God and unicorns. I can. They're both mythical creatures that don't exist.
Yep.
So, and both are extremely horny. Okay. I've got Bob here. Let's see. Come on the live if you're not a coward. and that's I'm gonna leave that. Oh god, he's gonna fucking flood me with messages now. All right. Do you believe in a creator? No, but even if I did, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible. That's like one of the hardest things for Christians to grasp, I think, is that they so want to have the debate of whether or not God exists, and they're so used to like having that debate with atheists that they don't bother to do the work of studying the arguments that come after that. So like if I just go to them, fine, let's say I believe in a God. I'm a deist. Now, why should I believe in the Bible? They short circuit. They don't know how to convince us that the Bible is true. They're so focused on getting you to become a theist that they don't know how to actually defend the Bible.
I will say, if Bob decides to come up, he was trying to question me on fine tuning. Would you allow that topic for him?
Because you're here, yes.
Cool. Awesome. Yay.
Another friendly's coming up. Johnny B.
Hey, Dalton. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Johnny?
Good, good. Hello, Ashton. Hello, Quant. How you doing?
Hello.
Dragon Knight in the comments was saying
that I can actually that I can actually breathe through my nose again. Finally.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing better, buddy.
Oh yeah. I slept for almost 12 hours last night.
I'm glad you're feeling better. I heard you had the surgery a while back. I was kind of worried. I was like, well, so some of those things they because I've had surgery too, and it's always a scary thing.
So what was Dragon Knight in the comments?
Oh, he was saying that we have more manuscripts of the New Testament than we do Alexander the Great, but how many Harry Potter books are out there?
Right. What they don't seem to understand is that the number of times that something gets written down doesn't make it more true. The majority of those manuscripts, by the way, like 80% of those manuscripts don't exist until the 9th century CE. So the number
I personally believe in Don Quixote.
Yeah. But like
his holy endeavor to spear the windmills.
If the Bible says something false, like Jesus fulfilled prophecy, you can write that down 10,000 times. You can write that down 15,000 times. You can write that down 1,000,000 times. You can have 1,000,000 billion manuscripts that says Jesus fulfilled prophecy. But unless he does, it doesn't matter. The number of times you spread a lie or a falsehood doesn't suddenly make it true. The number of manuscripts will never be impressive to any of us. Because
that actually reminds me of when Einstein came out with his theory of special relativity. This was like, during World War II, and all the Nazis were wrote a huge letter with a whole bunch of German scientists disavowing it and saying that it was false, with a whole bunch of signatures, like 100 signatures. And Einstein said, it shouldn't take 100 signatures to prove me wrong, just one experiment.
There you go. I like that.
That is true.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up. Oh, they were there. The call 365. I was just about to bring you up. I just have to read some super chats. So get back in my box. Real quick, I'm gonna read these super chats.
Round at Boopman Jones with a $1.99 obligatory pooper chat.
Much appreciated for the pooper chat. I wish I don't have a toilet sound effect, but you know what? Thank you for the pooper chat. Much appreciated.
And at Gilliam Linder with the $5. The church supported slavery.
This is true. There was a point in the Catholic Church's history where they allowed for the owning of slaves, and then they later overturned it. But if the church is allegedly supposed to be like this thing that comes down to us from Jesus and it's divinely ordained and all that kind of stuff, apostolic authority, then those people support slavery. And then they change their mind because apparently, God changes his mind all the time. All right. Let's see. Well, I mean, 365, I don't know where you went. Where'd you go? Cotton Eye Joe.
Hey, Dalton, you talked to Gilgamesh yesterday, didn't you?
I did. AKA Joe Mama.
Yeah, we were in a yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot he changed his name. That's why I didn't recognize him at first, just because he changed his name. But he was in a stream with me. It was either my stream or it was Ace's stream. and he was saying that he thinks the New Testament was written in Aramaic first.
So, when I was younger, in my late teens, I also thought that, because there is a popularized so around the 3rd, 4th century CE, the church created a Syriac, which Syriac is a type of Aramaic, Syriac translation of the New Testament. And now there are lots of Christians who think that because Jesus spoke Aramaic, and for whatever reason, that the Syriac Peshitta is the original text. But it's not, because, for example, when you look at the Syriac Aramaic New Testament, you read the Our Father prayer. It ends with, "And yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever." In the older Greek manuscripts, that doxology at the end isn't present. That doxology is something that was added in later and is featured in the Syriac translation. Also, in the Syriac New Testament, sometimes the word for gospel is euangelion, which is a Greek loan word. It's just a Greek word that's being rendered in Aramaic. So the fact that there are Greek loan words in the Syriac Peshitta is one of the telltale signs that this isn't original. This is just a translation, not the original.
That's what I was telling him. I was like, we certainly have Aramaic copies of the New Testament, but we don't have any it wasn't originally written in that language.
I don't know why, but he's very much obsessed with the Aramaic, because he was also trying to bring up the Aramaic paraphrases of the Old Testament, which I told him that these were later paraphrases written hundreds and hundreds of years after the Old Testament. So, Yard 77 Dog says Jesus Christ is God. I don't think he is. Can you prove he is? Come up here, prove your point. Christians, come on. Certainly someone out there can be a good apologist for Christianity, can prove to me why I should believe in the Bible. A lot of Christians will say that it doesn't change their faith if something was added later on. Well, I mean, that's fine. I don't think that's why they should leave their faith. They should leave their faith because it's not demonstrably true. So we believe in evolution? Yep, because of all of the evidence. The mountains upon mountains of evidence for evolution. And we have no good evidence for Jesus not being a big dead boy, or for him being the Messiah, or for him committing miracles, like committing a crime. The word was with God, the word was blah, 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 yeah. Jared 77, that's just a quote from John 1:1, and guess what? John 1:1 is, the book of John is false. The author of the Gospel of John likes to make shit up about Jesus, just to make. By the way, I was thinking about, maybe I should do a video on why we don't trust typology. And one of the main reasons why we don't trust typology is because we have examples in the New Testament where the authors make up new shit about Jesus or change things that the other authors wrote in order to make Jesus fulfill typology. This is funny. Rebel says miracles are just crimes against reality. That's good.
Crimes against physics.
And John 1:1 is seemingly going off of the Logos theology by Philo too, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's not even positioning Jesus as God, only that's positioning him as like a divine being. Yeah. All right. We got here.
At Neat versus the Bible with the $10. W. Dalton, Ashlyn Quanta, and all the friends of the Bible Guy. Thank you for your work.
Absolutely. And make sure everyone that you're following Ashlyn Quanta and Johnny B. Good. And and they all got they all do lives, either guesting or hosting their own lives, and they all do fantastic work when they do. You're almost Muslim, non-believers. I'm not almost Muslim. I don't think it's okay to rape 9-year-old girls, so I'm not a Muslim. I don't believe in Allah. I'm not a Muslim. I don't pray, not even once a day. Not a Muslim. I'm in no way even close to being like a Muslim. What a silly thing to say.
The only religion I'm ever close to being is a follower of the Great Spirit Matanui.
I was just Matanui. I mean, if there's any religion that I'm the closest to, I suppose it would be this Satanic Temple. I mean, have y'all read?
First tenet is a really good one. I shall have. I shall do my.
Yeah, actually,
is Satanic Temple even really technically a religion?
It is. I mean, the IRS determines what is and isn't a religion, and they are. But I'm going to read the seven.
Yeah, I guess legally, sure.
I'm going to read the 7 tenets of the Satanic Temple.
They're actually pretty good.
And we'll see if whether or not we agree with them or not. All right, I'm going to get everyone's opinion. So, the tenet number agree with them or disagree with them. Tenet number 1 should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. Yeah. Number 2, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. What do you think about that, everyone?
Agree.
Yeah. Pretty good. Number 3, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Bodily autonomy? Anyone? Sounds pretty good to me.
Agree.
So far, the Satanic tenet already better than the 10 Commandments. So let's keep going. Number 4, the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of others of another is to forego one's own. Respect bodily autonomy.
Mostly, yes. I do think that one might need a little bit of specification, but I think in principle it's good.
Yeah, I think in principle it's a good one. I feel like there are some things that could clarify, but otherwise, it's overall it's a good one though. So.
Once we get to number 7,
I think that's the most shaky-ish one out of the bunch.
Which is why number 7 will be important when we get to it. Number 5, belief should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs.
Science.
Pretty good. Number 6, people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. Hell yeah.
Agree.
Definitely.
And then this is the most important one, number 7. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility and action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word, which includes the 7 tenets. So
yes.
Yep. So there you go. People are fallible. Every tenet should be about justice and compassion and freedom and facts. Wow. 7 for 7, the Satanic Temple is way better than the 10 Commandments.
Hold on. I'm just gonna. By the way, when you're reading this, when we're going through the 7 tenets about how do we respect other people and go through, the Brotherhood Sport says, "I will not go live. This is my first time here, and I don't like the way the host is talking to people so far. He doesn't like this."
Aww.
Wait, who is
this? Someone on YouTube.
Well, what was their name?
I have to switch between focusing on certain I don't know. Do you want to know? I can go.
Yeah, I say I already forgot because they're not important. Also, no one gives a shit what your opinion is. You know.
Yeah. Now read the 10 Commandments.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's compare.
See how much we agree to that.
Yeah, let's compare.
What is it? I am a jealous God, punishing children for the inequity of parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who reject me.
Let's actually take a look at the 10 Commandments. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up Exodus chapter 20. We're gonna pick that version of the 10 Commandments. I am the Lord your God.
Some Christians are about to say you're taking it out of context.
Yeah, right. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. Already, can't demonstrate that Yahweh exists.
Matanui's already before him.
Yeah, and this is fundamentally against the freedom of religion, so already in a bad start. Why does God so butthurt if we worship other gods? Like if they're not real. Like if my girlfriend had an imaginary boyfriend, I might think she's crazy, but I'm not gonna get jealous of an imaginary boyfriend. Let's see. Number 2, you shall not make for yourself an idol, whether in the form of anything that is in heaven or above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not.
I literally have a figure of Motunui on my desk.
Listen, if my girlfriend made a statue of me, I mean, it'd be weird, but I wouldn't give a shit. Like, why is Yahweh's weird?
Technically, I do have a model rocket on my desk as well. Does that technically count as a model of something from the heavens above?
Well, no, actually, it has to be an idol, so it's an object of worship. That it's like picturing a deity, and that you believe that it's presenting a god that you worship.
I mean, nothing's stopping me from worshiping the rocket.
There you go. I mean,
if I worshipped it, does it technically count as being from the heavens above?
Yeah.
All hail the rockets.
All hail the SLS.
Number, you shall not make one wrongful use of the name of Yahweh your God, for Yahweh will not acquit anyone who misuses his name. So, again, this is the infinite, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-good God becoming pissed off because someone used his name wrong, which is weird. Why is God so petty? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So apparently if you work on Saturday, for some reason, this pisses off the infinite God. Also, you get put to death for it. So I
dare even think about picking up sticks.
Yeah, it's so far. This is really just it looks like something like ancient tribal people wrote. Crazy. Honor your father and mother so that your days may be long. Well, sometimes, but what if your parents don't deserve it?
Yeah, some parents out there are not the best.
If you're abusive parents, then they shouldn't be honored. Fuck them. Not literally, because that's Sweet Home Alabama. It's the Bible. Let's see. You shall not murder. That one's actually a good one. We can agree with that one. No murdering. Okay. You shall not commit adultery. Generally, that's fine. I can see instances where if you have a spouse who's abusive and neglectful, and especially if you live in an area of the world where your husband, you can't divorce your husband for whatever legal reason. Go find love where you can
It's
get
a weird first principle rule.
Yeah.
Sorry, I go back and forth in chats to monitor for a little bit, but the Brotherhood Sports, out of fucking nowhere, no idea where this came from, says he's talking about unity and how wanting to unify all people, and then goes, "I'm not misogynistic, I'm just honest."
Wow.
What does that mean? I'm so confused.
Sounds like a misogynist to me. Like, I don't know what they're trying to cover up for, but yeah.
Like, I don't have to say that when I'm like in the middle of no, like, I don't understand. I've never had to say that. Why did you?
I've never had to say to someone I'm not a misogynist, because like it's not something you have to worry about for me. So I've never had to. But anyways, all the Ten Commandments suck ass. Anyways, Dipster is going to be our next guest. Dipster, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. So
I do have to hop down, but ping me if some topic comes up.
Will do, sir.
Bye, Quanta.
Thank you. All right, later.
All right. This person is taking a while to load in, so I guess while they're loading in, I'll just Dipsters are friendly. That's right. Yeah, I thought so. You should not steal.
Yeah, it's Dipster.
Yeah. Yeah, they comment all the time. They leave super chats too. Generally, I guess their internet wasn't up to par, though. They weren't able to load in. You shall not steal. Generally, that's a good thing to live by, but sometimes you have to. If I am working for the United States government and I've infiltrated a terrorist organization and I have the opportunity to steal important information and bring it back in order to save lives, stealing is good. So that's based on, circumstance. You should not bear false witness. Sure, I don't think you should bear false witness in a court of law. I agree. That one's actually a good one. But so far, the only ones that are unequivocally good: thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not bear false witness, and the other ones are somewhat good, and then a few of them are just ancient tribal laws about idolatry and working on the Sabbath. When you let's see, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Well, my neighbor's wife isn't his property, so that's already a bad start. Listing off a woman as something to covet is a huge problematic. So there you go. 10 Commandments, iffy at best. Satanic Temple, 7 tenets, A-okay. Yard 77 Dog says, yeah, this Satan's spirit. Satan doesn't exist. And he doesn't have a spirit. Insert Voldemort, and it's the exact same sentiment.
Hail Voldemort.
Hail Voldemort. Oh, no, go fuck that guy. What did I say? I'll say Hail Satan all day, but fuck that Voldemort. You wrong?
Yeah, fuck
okay, Yard 77, you're more than welcome to come up here, gird your loins, come up, and prove that Satan is real. Let's see, another super chat here.
From Gilliam Linder 601 with the $5. Does anybody know where I can find the Lego website Bionicle game from the early 2000s?
Whoa, Quantanaut. That would have been a question for Quantanaut, 100%. You know, I will screenshot that.
If you have a Discord, Quantanaut is in the server. So you can go ask Quantanaut as well.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, but we don't have a way to get back to this individual.
Oh well, they can just listen back when I just sent Quant the super chat. Does anyone know where I can find the Lego website? And he says, Yard 77 says, you would never believe no matter what wisdom was given you, it's on you. No, I would believe if you had evidence. I think that you have to say, though, you would never believe no matter what because you don't have evidence. And it's easier for you to just give up on this at the beginning of the conversation and not get into the conversation than for you to actually come up and provide evidence.
Oh, this is fun. The Brotherhood Sports. Misogyny is just a word women use to make excuses for people correcting their evil nature. Sorry.
You already gave up? I haven't given up yet.
Normally I would. Why don't you come up, the Brotherhood Sports? Also, the Brotherhood. Are you not circumcised? Is that what you're trying to tell everybody?
Brotherhood sounds like some white tea supremacy stuff. Hopefully not, though. But anyways, Quantanaut says for Gilliam Linder in the comment section, biomediaproject. Okay, biomediaproject.com/BMP/. There you go. Yeah. Oh, actually, I'll just do this bit right here.
I muted them. They if they want to come up and argue, we'll just crush them.
There you go.
No, I know. Misogynists have an eeny peeny little short dick man. That's them. That's their theme song.
They do.
That's
seriously.
their theme. Yeah, like that's. I'm convinced.
Yard again running his mouth.
Yeah. They're
saying,
gone, Liquid.
I ain't mad at you. Just wish you believed. Well, fun fact. You can wish on a star all day long that I'll believe, but unless you put in the work and do something to convince me, you can pray and wish all day long and it ain't gonna come to pass. Because prayers and wishes don't work. Work works.
Because we have Muslims telling us their God exists. We have all these other people telling us their God exists. Like, just telling us a God exists doesn't help us. Like, that's not evidence for anything. Like, if they want us to believe their God exists, then they would need to provide some kind of evidence for it. Like, it's just how it is.
Yep. Absolutely. It worked for me. Then you are gullible. You're an idiot and you're gullible. Nice try. All right. Yard 77. I'm sorry if you're gullible and that you think that magic and someone saying a spell over you to their god somehow made you a Christian, but obviously that's not how that works. All right. we're gonna bring up Servant Nick. I'm pretty sure Servant Nick is. They came on a long. You came on a long time ago, right?
Yes, sir. It's good to talk with you again.
All right. Just so I can get a reminder from my audience, Servant Nick, I'm gonna ask you the same 3 questions I ask everyone here. Question number 1: Are you at least 18?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2: What pronouns do you go by?
He and him.
And then question number 3: Are you a Bible believer?
Yes, sir.
All right, Servant Nick, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. You know me, I don't believe in the Bible. Tell me, Servant Nick, why should I believe in the Bible?
I put my hope in the name of Jesus and his kingdom come because of the following of his practices, my friend. I followed his practices and I'm a believer, and I have been rewarded with gifts of the Holy Spirit. I've been baptized in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Here, Nick.
Nick, fast.
Nick,
yes, sir.
Nick, blink twice if Jesus is holding you at gunpoint. This sounds very, very, very like culty the way you're saying it. It's very.
Well, whoever is not with him is against him, my friend, and you'll be judged for every empty word you've ever spoken.
Oh, okay, Anakin Skywalker. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Only a Sith deals.
That's what he said.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Well, he died on the cross for your sins. We could talk about that too.
Well, no, here. Go ahead. Prove that Jesus' death was actually a sacrifice and not just an execution.
Because I practiced what he preached and been rewarded with gifts of the Holy Spirit.
Prove that you're rewarded with gifts of the Holy Spirit.
Weird way to tell us you've stoned women before.
Yeah.
Listen, you'll be judged for every empty word you've ever spoken.
He didn't say he didn't, so
yeah.
I'm concerned. We should call someone.
Nick, prove that you have the Holy Spirit. Prove it.
You want to defame the Most High God? We're constantly in the presence of the Most High God.
Well, wait. So when I'm in my room alone and I'm jerking it, is God watching me orgasm? Is God?
My friend, I don't judge you. My friend, listen. I don't judge you. I don't think.
Is your God watching me jerk off? Oh my God. What a voyeur. That's crazy.
Every empty word you've ever spoken, you'll be judged for. You understand?
Oh, trust me, they ain't empty. Those aren't empty words. I really follow through. So, anyways, Servant Nick, enough of this nonsense. Can you prove that you actually have the Holy Spirit?
I'll let you go before you get yourselves into more trouble with him.
Servant, is pegging in heaven?
Oh, here, I'll get myself in more trouble before you leave. Okay, fuck the Holy Spirit.
I just wanted to know if pegging was in heaven. I like to ask him that because, I want to know. He seemed to know so much about it.
We've spoken to a lot of Christians, and also, by the way, that guy is super culty. Like,
he sounds familiar. I wonder if he was on my live before saying the same thing, because I've had a few people come up saying kind of like the same things, like, oh, like, you're gonna go to hell and stuff like that.
If it sounds familiar, have you ever played Far Cry 5? There's that cult leader. That's where you probably heard it from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He definitely thinks he deserves multiple wives, like that. No doubt.
Oh,
no doubt. And I wouldn't doubt there might be some underages that he thinks is appropriate as well. Like, that's the kind of thing that this individual was giving.
Yeah, that was weird.
I got the same vibe.
I am 100% further away from Jesus now that I know that he's a fucking peeping Tom. Just started Far Cry 5 today. LOL. Yeah, Slice. So Slice, you get it. He totally sounds like one of those like cultic guys. That was weird as hell.
Yeah, I got the same vibe from him, Ashlyn. I got the same feeling from him.
Gloria Crux says, "Of God is always in our presence, and him leaving isn't going to undo anything." Right? What's weird that Christians will both say God is omnipresent and everywhere at once, but also hell is the absence of God's presence. What? Anyways, you fuck with Neo 3 yet? So I have not played any of the Neo games. So just like, okay, I'll give you guys the rundown. Since we don't have any guests right now and we're just having fun, I'll give you guys the rundown on the type of video games I like to play. So you kind of get like a vibe, but for what I like. So I play all the Assassin's Creed games, all the God of War games, the Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, Starfield. I'm playing Starfield right now. That's what I'm doing. And Red Dead Redemption 2. So basically, I really like open world RPG games, lots of choices where you can really get immersed into it. Baldur's Gate 3, I played that for a little bit. Brianna says I'm literally playing Baldur's Gate right now. Yeah, like I played Baldur's Gate at least until like me and Shadowheart banged it out, and then I was like, okay, time to move on to a new game. My entire party on Baldur's Gate 3, none a single one of them wear clothes. We're a nudist party. Lazel's Lazel is good too. Yeah, same Brianna. 100%. Chapter, welcome up, bud.
Hey, Dalton, hey, Ashland, and Jonathan, is it? Johnny B. Hey, Johnny B, I'll follow you too.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
For me, I've got a plethora of nostalgic games, but for me it was Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy series. 4, 5, and 6 were my faves.
I want to play because so the Mineral Street of Doug says, have you played Helldivers 2? I haven't, but it looks good. Like I'm not really usually into those like play online with other people. Basically think of you know that old movie Starship Troopers?
Yeah, I watched Starship Troopers. Great movie.
It's like that. So basically you are part of an army, you go down on an alien planet and you're basically killing giant alien bugs. That's the vibe I'm getting from it so far. I haven't got a chance to play it. I don't know because I know it requires you to have internet access. I don't know if my internet's good enough for me to play online like that, which is why I haven't yet tried to buy it. But whenever I finally get moved out into the apartment, then I got better internet, and you guys will know when that happens because we'll be going live like more days a week. Then I will probably give it a try.
Can anyone name that game? I think it was something Earth. It was like meant to be revolutionary, multiplayer, and then it turned out to be absolutely crap. What was it called? Something Earth.
Anyway, I don't remember it.
Let's see if chat knows. Something Earth. But it was a really, really bad game. Because they said it would be a great interactive multiplayer game where people could, explore worlds in a multiplayer mode. It turned out to be shit. And it bombed. It really bombed.
You're talking about No Man's Sky?
Is that what I'm talking about?
It sounds familiar. It's like a game where you go around to all these different planets and you explore them or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Hang on. I don't know what I thought about. Hang on. I was thinking about Earth. A very terrible B-grade movie. Yeah, it was No Man's Sky. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you had anything to drink today, Chapter?
No. But I have to tell you, my kidneys are failing. My liver is failing. I'm not doing well. I'm sorry.
My goodness.
Let me pause for a moment.
Well, you don't have to say any of this online that you don't want to. We apologize for that. I'm so sorry.
Are you in the hospital right now, bud?
Oh, damn.
I just got a... Sorry. I just got out of hospital last week.
Oh my gosh. Are you okay?
Not so well.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that, bud. Are you? Do you have like a GoFundMe setup or anything like that?
Funds are fine. Sorry, I didn't mean it to turn out this way. My funds are fine. My parents are fine. My wife is fine. Family is fine. I just wanted to say hi.
Hey, you know, we're always happy to hear from you. Of course, chapter, and like keep us up to date so that we can know like how you're doing, and if you end up starting like a GoFundMe to do any raising, let us know, and like we'll make sure 100% to let everyone know.
No, that's fine. They're doing more heart scans and brain scans as well, because they might have they thought I might have a small aneurysm.
Small aneurysm?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like, honestly, I'm.
Yeah.
Can you? I'm gonna message you. Are you still on Discord, chapter?
Yeah, I'm on Toland's Discord. Yeah, I'm on the Deconstruction Discord. But I just wanted to say hi.
Chapter, I just want you to know we're all thinking about you, buddy, and we're all gonna be here for you, all right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I didn't want to bring the convert down. I just
okay.
You're not
got
bringing.
excited.
You're not bringing us down. We're all here for you, and having a community is this is part of having one, and you're giving us a gift to for us all to come together.
Well, let's talk about nostalgia and what makes us happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do for the day. I've got work, but let's just talk about nostalgic things and have a happy day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I love the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You wearing the CBJ hat?
Yeah, I'm growing my hair back out right now, and like between the stages of my hair being longer and manageable and also being bald, like stages in between, I don't like the way my hair looks when it's first growing out, so I'm wearing hats now for right now.
For sure. Yeah.
But speaking of nostalgia, what I'm really excited about is that Sony is doing a complete remake of the original God of War trilogy.
Oh yeah, I'll get that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for it. I'm gonna. You guys will know when it comes out because I'm gonna be very busy.
I'll be down for that. Anything else new that you're looking out for?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Fable to come out right now. And
Fable. Oh yeah, Fable, yes.
Yes.
Would it be okay if one of our mods reach out to you directly? Chapter, is that okay?
Well, yes. No problems, because I've got 3 consults lined up with a personal therapist. I've got 2 specialists and a doctor. But if anyone wants to reach out, for sure, because it's tough dealing with these things, and my parents are a little bit overbearing, overcaring, which is nice, you know it, but sometimes it's exhausting, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. And you're in the Discord, right?
I'm in the Discord. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. You're not under chapter, are you, right?
Yeah, Wings chapter or just chapter. I only have one, username. Never changed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your appreciation. Because I guess you can tell that something is happening to my body. It's beyond my control. And I haven't been drinking in 12 months. And that's concerning. That's concerning, you know?
Well, I mean,
so thanks, guys.
I know you're a strong person, and I have no doubt that you'll make it. You'll make it through this, bud, and you'll be fine, 100%.
Thanks, Dolphin. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're all here for. I mean, and let it be a lesson to all the Christians out there that you don't need to have a church in order to have community. If you're deconstructing that, we are here for each other. We're not Christians, and yet we're still here for each other. We have community, and and that's exactly what exactly what we're here for.
Yeah. Recovery from everything and everyone, no matter what might be, affecting you. How about that? Thank you.
Absolutely, bud.
Have a good one. I appreciate you.
Love you, bud. And keep in contact and keep us updated, okay?
Of course, we'll do. Love you too.
Love you, bud.
All right. Real quick, we have another super chat.
I'm gonna read it.
In the Ashland voice.
I think this time. At Kevin Smith for the $5. You can pray in one hand and what in the other. See which one fills up faster.
Yeah, that's for Servant Nick. Yeah. 100%. All right, I'm gonna bring up our next guest. I think our next guest is gonna be our last guest for the night. Pom Putin. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So, question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
What is your name? Next. What is your quest?
Or if Bob wants to, Bob is here. Bob says you should believe the Bible because it's absolutely true. Bob, we've been talking about you, Bob. Would you like to come up and talk to us, Bob?
I talked to Bob yesterday. He thinks Alma means virgin. It does not.
Oh, Bob. You gotta know Alma doesn't mean virgin. There is a word in Hebrew for virgin, Bob.
It's a bit too long.
Yeah. If Bob ends up coming up here, I'm gonna grill him on the Hebrew. No, Betullah means virgin now. No, it meant virgin in the Bible. Joel chapter 1 verse 8 says, lament like a virgin who weeps for the husband of her youth.
But
it's the Hebrew word Betullah.
You were in mine and Quantonaut's chat so actively and telling us that we have no morals, telling us that we're sensitive and volatile and all this other stuff. And then come in. Why don't you come defend all the other information you were coming up and telling us and inviting me to different things and sending me videos? Here is the time to have a conversation face to face.
Bob says, I have a thing about talking to sociopaths. Bob, I don't think you
you don't know what a sociopath is. You don't. I guarantee you don't know what a sociopath is. It's not a pathology, by the way. It's not in the DSM.
I doubt Bob knows anything about it. Bob says LMAO. Bob, you got nothing. Bob, if Alma means virgin, does that mean that there was a virgin in the time of Isaiah that was pregnant? Because it says about the Alma in Isaiah 7:14 that Alma hara, that she is virgin. That she is pregnant.
Wait. What did you never say, Bob?
I showed your lady friend.
I showed your lady. Hi.
She has
that's a weird way to refer to me. Yeah, I mean, I can send Dalton the text messages where you absolutely made atrocious claims. I mean, I can send him all those on Discord where you were shitting on atheist. to my face, while after I told you I was an atheist. Like, if I'm a sociopath and you didn't understand how that's rude when I told you when I asked you why you were being rude to me, I'm definitely not the sociopath in this situation. If you can't understand why after I identify as a group, then you start attacking that a group to me in a chat is why I would take that as being rude. I'm not the sociopath in this situation.
So Bob, I muted you. So you either have to come up here and talk to us, or we'll just read these messages out loud and we'll shit on you without you being present.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Let's see, Ashlyn, where does it, or one of you guys, where's the line where he starts claiming that Alma means virgin in the messages?
He was in my
I don't know.
He was in my live stream yesterday making that claim.
And you made and Ashlyn, he said on your lives that he said that he was making psychological claims about atheists.
Yeah, it's one of his. So he messaged me. Let's go through, and I go all the way up to the top. Curious to hear your take on the Bible, so I can look things up and study. And I said, it's a vast subject. I'm about to go live with another host on the religion topic. You're more than welcome to join and ask questions. Send link. I'm out, but I hopefully will catch some. Send him the link. It says I've been blocked. I assume you've did something bad because we don't just block people. What was the show? And atheists are extremely volatile and sensitive. I'm an atheist. What the flying fish fat you talking about, woman? Agnostic. I'm an agnostic atheist. Then he goes through and starts like literally sending me a bunch of stuff, and I'm literally giving him like 1-sentence responses. And he's moving on to like a ton of different subjects. And he's like, oh, there are 2 gods, and I'm like, technically there are 72, and he keeps going. And then he goes on to insult my morals and tells me all these, like, it was like, I think atheists will fall for anything at first glance and not do any deep research. Like, you've already understood that I'm a fucking atheist and just insulting me. And I'm the fucking sociopath in this situation. I mean, Dalton, do you want me to take screenshots and send them to you?
No, I think that's fine enough as it is. Like the irony of a Christian.
Yeah, you're an atheist. None of y'all ever have patience. That's why you can't make connections to the Bible. You miss all those gems.
The irony the irony of a Christian saying to an atheist that atheists will just believe anything they read. The irony is so fucking thick. We literally had a Christian today who didn't know the answer to something, went and just read the first thing that he read and just believed it. So I don't think it's the atheists who are doing that.
They sent me a meme that says, that's the beauty of being an atheist. I don't have to follow your commandments. I can lie, I can steal, I can covet till the cows come home. And then I explained to them that I've been told that I deserve to be raped by a Christian and never an atheist. And then he responds with, instead of like, hey, I'm really sorry that happened to you, he goes, because Christians try to have morals, but atheists really don't have to. That was the response to saying that.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Bob's just a giant piece of shit. That's all.
Yeah, Bob, you suck.
Never once said, hey, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
Also, Bob, if you end up messaging me again, like the reason I blocked Bob in the first place was because they messaged me over and over and over and over again. And quite frankly, I don't give enough of a shit about Christians messaging me. I don't debate people over messages, and that's all Bob wanted to do because Bob is too much of a coward to come up. So like if he ends up like, I'm just Bob, just a fair warning. You go ahead and keep messaging me, I will just ignore your ass.
Well, the best part is that he literally said he doesn't have to follow the commandments. I'm a woman, Bob. The commandments call me property. And if anyone would like to see these messages, but also don't like harass Bob. But if they want evidence of this, like that this actually happened, I can just send you screenshots. Like this is actually how this conversation went.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just answering a text message. Yeah, I'll send you $20. Sorry, it's my plug. And by plug, I mean the woman who's out buying me Dr. Peppers right now. Okay, let's see. Okay, anyways, so it doesn't look like there are any Christians who are who've got the chutzpah to come up and debate the Bible guy because they know that they don't know shit about the Bible. And so I think we're just gonna have to call it for the day. And Justin and I have been talking about I've defeated Christianity, everybody. Anyways, as a Texan Dr. Pepper rocks, yeah, it's the state drink, obviously. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the live now, but before I do that, let's find someone we can send you guys off to. And remember, be good representatives of the Bible Guy show. And it looks like Robot Goat. Is she live? Are they? Yeah, Robot Goat is live right now. Oh, wait, are they? Or was that over? Because wait a minute, are they still live? Robot.
I got you.
Oh, they're not live anymore. Darn.
Mama Bash is live.
Mama Bash. All right. Then you know what, guys, I'm gonna send you eyes over to Mama Bash. Go ahead and give YouTube Punk the appropriate links and all that kind of stuff. John Cohen is live. Guys, I only just recently discovered John Cohen. That man is a saint. The amount of patience he has and the cool demeanor he has. I love watching the show, and the fact that he's got a British accent helps a lot too. Not gonna lie, British accents. I just love accents. Australian accents, British accents, French accents.
Also,
I'm a sucker for them.
Also, I don't know. I do want to do something for chapter, maybe not very big or something like that. And I think I might create a little thing on Discord. So if you want to be a part of that, go join the Discord and we'll talk. I'm gonna brainstorm and think on it. But I just want to show chapter, in some sort of display, that we're here for him and we're all, whatever, that we can do that he needs. Well, I'm totally gonna go cry later.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Good to see you, bud. All right. Jesus Christ. So, okay. I guess while I'm waiting for YouTube Punk to give out the link to Mama Bash's TikTok, I guess I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown, counter apologetics rundown as to why it is that typology is never a good argument for Jesus being the Messiah. So the question is, what do we mean by typology? In biblical Christian studies, there is a concept of typology. The idea is that there are types in the Old Testament. In other words, phenomenon, events, people, or things that foreshadow or prefigure things in the New Testament. For example, the idea is that the Passover lamb was a type or shadow, a prefigurement of the future crucifixion of Jesus, which would be the antitype. And the idea is that because God is all knowing and all powerful, he's able to manipulate history in such a way that certain people, places, and things in the Old Testament were big foreshadowing Jesus. The reason why this is not a good argument in favor of Jesus, by the way, Chester says, thank you, Dalton, Ashlyn, I appreciate it. My health is not on you, but thank you so much. Hey, we're here for you, bud. The reason typology will never be a good argument for Jesus, because we know for a fact that the authors of the New Testament are more than willing to change the details of Jesus's life to make them fit in with types and shadows of the Old Testament. The prime example I love to go to is that in the Synoptic Gospels, Jesus is crucified on Passover. But in the Gospel of John, he gets crucified the day before, the preparation day of the Passover, at around 3 p.m. Why? Because that's when the lambs for the Passover are supposed to be sacrificed. The author of John changes the day and time of Jesus's crucifixion so that Jesus's crucifixion lines up with the Passover. Thought my live ended? Did it end on YouTube? Did it end? No, it didn't. Okay, just make sure. So they changed Jesus's they changed the time of Jesus' crucifixion to make it line up with the Passover. So if John is able to do that and change the time and day of Jesus' crucifixion to fit the Passover lambs, then there's no telling what else the gospel authors changed in order to make Jesus appear as if he fit in with types and shadows of Jesus. So, there you go, guys. If folks studied actual history like the Bible, we'd actually be a better society. The Bible is an actual history. It's myths. And when we study actual history, the Bible doesn't line up. All right. So, everyone go over to Mama Bash's TikTok/YouTube if they have a YouTube. Go over to Mama Bash's channel. Tell her that the Bible guy sent you. And make sure you're following Johnny B and Ashland. And the next time we go live will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. And remember, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we will see you all again on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye, Dalton. You have a good one. See you later.
Bye.
Like a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire, he rides the night with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guy. Scrolls of ages, words aflame. He dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky.